Chapter 1042, Beauty Trap, Second Update. He had to appease Xianxia properly now. If he ruined the relationship at this time, wouldn't all his previous efforts be wasted? With suppressed frustration, Wuxia said, Fine. I won't look for her. Is that not enough if I don't look for her? Zuoling responded with satisfaction. If you had acted like this earlier, I wouldn't have needed to get involved. At that moment, a voice came from the kitchen. Wife, where did you put our bird's nest? Birds' nests usually have some feathers, so the task of picking them fell to Father Zua. Hearing the words bird's nest, Zuoling's brow twitched, and the apple in his hand suddenly lost its appeal. Mother Zua said, Isn't it on top of the cabinet? Look carefully. There's nothing. I only found an empty box. Father Zua replied. Mother Zua, already full of anger and nowhere to vent it, snapped, You useless idiot. You can't even find something as big as a bird's nest. What can you even do properly? Father Zua replied grievously, There really is only an empty box. Just then Zuoling continued, Mom, I took the bird's nest. You took it? Mother Zua looked at Zuoling in surprise. What did you need the bird's nest for? As soon as she finished speaking, Mother Zua realized, Oh no. You didn't take our family's bird's nest to give to that little bitch, did you? By the last sentence, Mother Zua's voice had changed. Zuoling nodded, Yeah. Mother Zua really wanted to slap Zuoling to death, but looking at her beloved son's face, she couldn't bring herself to do it and instead took out her anger on Father Zua. You useless idiot. Look at your great son. Oh my God. My bird's nest. The bird's nest I couldn't bear to eat myself was wasted on that little bitch. Mother Zua hit and punched Father Zua. She was furious. Father Zua was so angry he wanted to scold Zuoling, but he couldn't bring himself to do it and had to suppress his anger. That night, when it was time to sleep, Mother Zua felt more and more uneasy as she kept tossing and turning. She was heartbroken. There might be a chance to get the watch back, but not the bird's nest. Who knows, the bird's nest might have already ended up in that little bitch's stomach. Sleep, just sleep, Father Zua said helplessly. It's gone, let it be. Anyway, the Liebao family is rich, so we'll just ask Liebao to give us another one later. Mother Zua responded angrily, Liebao is not a fool. Our Lingling is about to marry that little bitch. Would Liebao still send stuff to our house? Father Zua then suggested, Then we'll just have to deceive Liebao. It's not like they are getting married right away. Mother Zua thought this was a good idea and paid a visit to Chen Leibao's house the next day. That visit indeed proved to be very fruitful. Morning light group. When lunchtime arrived, Zuoling was anxious to meet Xianxia, and he hurried to the cafeteria. He accidentally bumped into someone. And it was a beauty. Ach, are you blind? I'm so sorry, are you all right? Zuoling immediately apologized. He knew this beauty, her name was Li Tong, and she worked in the department next door. It was said that Li Tong's family had a powerful background and had connections with the company's CEO, which was why she managed to have an office job. Li Tong looked up, saw Zuoling's face and froze, a blush coloring her cheeks. It's okay. Zuoling also froze. As an experienced player in love games, he knew exactly why Li Tong was blushing. It was clearly the look of a young girl struck by love. Could it be that Li Tong had fallen for him? He was so handsome, youthful and promising with a high education level, it was completely normal for Li Tong to fall for him. Zuoling's heart raced. You see, Li Tong had far better qualifications than Xianxia. Xianxia had only her looks. Li Tong had the looks, the body, the education, not to mention her family background. Xianxia couldn't compare to even 1/10,000th of Li Tong. Zuoling hadn't even come back to his senses when he heard Li Tong ask, What's your name? I don't think I've seen you before. Hearing this, Zuoling pointed to his work badge and said, Zuoling. Li Tong nodded, Li Tong, just call me Tong Tong. Tong Tong. Zuoling's heart immediately fluttered. A woman wanting to be addressed so intimately clearly meant something significant. I have to go ahead for something else, Li Tong said, then walked in a different direction. Zuoling wanted to follow her but was afraid of being too forward, so he stared at Li Tong's back for a long time. Li Tong was beautiful and had a particularly cold demeanor. Several male colleagues in the office had tried to pursue her but all had eventually given up. Over time, no one dared to pursue Li Tong anymore. Zuoling hadn't expected Li Tong to treat him differently. The more Zuoling thought about it, the more excited he became, so much so that he was distracted while having dinner with Xianxia. As they ate, Xianxia said, Zuoling, I mentioned us to my parents last night, but they seem to misunderstand you and temporarily don't approve of our relationship. I'm so sorry. Xianxia felt very guilty as Zuoling had been waiting for her, but she kept disappointing him. Zueling must be very upset right now? Zueling said, it's okay, it's okay. Seeing Zueling like this, Xianxia thought he was angry and continued, Zueling, I've made up my mind, he'll sneak our household registration book from home. Let's quietly go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and register our marriage. Oh, okay. Zueling nodded absent-mindedly, then suddenly realized something was off. No. Xiaoxi, what did you just say? Had Zueling been too excited and hallucinated? Xianxia repeated what she had just said with a smile. What? Register for marriage? Zueling was startled and accidentally knocked over the soup bowl on his dinner tray, spilling the pork rib soup all over the table. Xianxia quickly stood up to wipe the table. How about it? Are you really excited now? Xianxia thought that Zueling must be too excited about the news. In fact, had he not met Li Tong an hour before, Zueling would indeed have been very excited. After all, he had always wanted to marry Xianxia. But not now. Not that he never would, but at least he had no immediate thoughts of getting married. Because he was unsure whether Li Tong was really interested in him. If Li Tong really liked him and he was already married to Xianxia, wouldn't he miss out on Li Tong? Therefore he couldn't register the marriage with Xianxia for the time being. Zueling gathered his thoughts and then said, Xiaoxi, I think matters of marriage still need the approval of our parents. After all, they have worked hard to raise you, and it wouldn't be fair to them if we were to act this way, would it? Before he pursued Li Tong, Zueling wouldn't easily break up with Xianxia. What if he hastily broke up with Xianxia, but Li Tong didn't like him? Wouldn't it all be in vain? After speaking, Zueling added, Xiaoxi, misunderstandings are okay, I believe I can clear up your uncle and aunt's misunderstandings about me with sincerity. Registering hastily not only disheartens the elders but also makes them feel that I am unreliable. Xiaoxi, I don't want to put you in a difficult position, I am willing to wait. Zueling spoke righteously and Xianxia was very moved. She hadn't expected Zueling to consider her perspective to such an extent. It seems they had misunderstood Zueling before. Xianxia suddenly felt very sorry for Zueling. Zueling, thank you. Thank you for thinking so much for me. Actually, I still have something I've been hiding from you. Lovers shouldn't keep secrets. She shouldn't have hidden her family background from Zueling. She should be honest with Zueling. Just then Zueling suddenly saw Li Tong. Li Tong was walking this way. He absolutely couldn't let Li Tong see him with Xianxia. Zueling suddenly stood up and said, Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel a bit unwell, I'm going back to the office. Hearing that Zueling felt unwell, Xianxia said with a concerned face, Zueling, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? No, I'm fine, Zueling continued, he'll just rest at the office for a bit. Don't follow me, go ahead and eat. As he finished speaking, Zueling ran off like a shot. Xianxia didn't think much of it, assuming Zueling was just concerned she hadn't eaten enough. Back at the office, Zueling finally breathed a sigh of relief, thankful that Li Tong hadn't seen him. Otherwise he wouldn't be able to explain. That evening after work, afraid of being seen by Li Tong, Zueling made an excuse to work overtime and sent Xianxia home first. The next morning when Zueling showed up at the office again he was startled. Because Li Tong had been transferred to their office. Upon seeing Zueling, Li Tong turned towards him and took the initiative to greet him. Zueling, good morning. We're in the same office now, I'm sitting right next to you. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1043, Zueling is hooked, Part 3. Zueling looked at the enthusiastic Li Tong and thought he must be hallucinating. The aloof and stunning Li Tong was actually taking the initiative to greet him. Zueling felt countless envious gazes turning towards him. Oh my god. He couldn't be dreaming, could he? Zueling pinched the inside of his thigh hard. It hurt. He wasn't dreaming. Zueling looked up at Li Tong, Tong. Li Tong smiled slightly, please enlighten me on work-related matters in the future. Of course, Zueling nodded. If you have any questions about work, just ask me. Thank you, Zueling. Li Tong casually picked up a paper bag from the desk. To thank you, I'm treating you to breakfast. Zueling sheepishly accepted the breakfast bag. When a woman takes the initiative to show favor to a man, her intentions are all too obvious. Li Tong must have fallen for him. Maybe she even moved here for him. Zueling thought smugly to himself. During the lunch break, Li Tong went to talk with other female colleagues, while a few male colleagues surrounded Zueling. Zueling, you dog. You even tamed a beauty like Li Tong. Zueling, share some tips with us. Exactly, you can't keep these tips to yourself. You have to share with us all so we can all win a beauty. Zuoling was very pleased inside, but he feigned humility. Actually, I didn't do much. Maybe I just happened to be the type Li Tong likes. Zuoling, you can't be serious. Are you still hiding something? Another colleague chimed in. Hey, do you guys know who Li Tong is? She's the factory manager's niece. The factory manager's niece? Zuoling looked at the colleague who spoke in surprise. Really? Although he knew there was some connection between Li Tong and the factory manager, he didn't know Li Tong was actually the niece of the factory manager. Their factory manager was in her 50s, still unmarried, without any children of her own. If Li Tong really was her niece, then she was almost like a daughter to her. After the factory manager passes away, the factory would belong to Li Tong. Of course it's true. I once saw Li Tong come out of the factory manager's office, calling her auntie. Now, isn't that proof enough that she is the niece? As soon as others heard that Li Tong was the manager's daughter, their expressions changed as well, their eyes revealing even more evident envy. Oh my god. Oh my god. Zuoling, you can't forget us when you make it big. Zuoling, you must have stepped in a fortune to be seen differently by the future factory manager. Zuoling, you've got to seize the opportunity, humor Li Tong well, and you could be the future factory manager. Everyone was saying their piece, and Zuoling was also extremely excited. Just like everyone said, if he really married Li Tong, then he wouldn't just be the son-in-law of the factory manager, he would be the future factory manager. In the future, the thousands of people in the factory would be under his command. Oh. He had to seize the opportunity that lay before him. It seemed that these days he needed to maintain a proper distance from Xianxia. He couldn't let Li Tong find out anything. Xianxia had clearly felt Zuoling distancing himself from her these past days. During lunch he wouldn't come to the cafeteria but ate in the office instead, and after work he didn't wait for her anymore. What was wrong with him? Could it be because of the marriage matter he was angry? Xianxia stood in front of the window, letting out a deep sigh, and just then she was embraced from behind. Zuoling. Xianxia turned around in surprise, and the person was indeed Zuoling. Zuoling said, Xiaoxi, we've been really busy in our department recently. I'm sorry I've neglected you. Li Tong had taken the day off and wasn't at the factory, so Zuoling dared to be so bold. Moreover, he had been estranged from Xianxia for such a long time. If the estrangement continued, what if Xianxia was deceived by someone else? Besides, Zuoling hadn't confirmed his relationship with Li Tong yet. He couldn't afford to give up the sesame for the sake of the watermelon, ending up seeing neither the watermelon nor the sesame. One must always be prepared for both possibilities. The gloom of several days instantly vanished with Zuoling's explanation. Xianxia smiled and said, It's okay, work is important. I thought you were angry with me. In his heart, Zuoling chuckled at how silly Xianxia was, but sweetly said on the surface, How could I be? Xiaoxi, you are the one I love the most, how could I be mad at you? Xianxuan's face blushed a bit and she pushed Zuoling away. Don't be like this. I'm telling the truth. Zuoling declared with conviction. In my heart, no one is more important than you. Right, tomorrow is Saturday, let's go see a movie together. Before the movie, let's go out to eat first. Xianxia nodded. Alright, I just so happen to have something to discuss with you this Saturday. Xianxia didn't want to keep hiding it from Zuoling any longer. She trusted Zuoling. He wasn't the kind of person who cared about family background. The next day was Saturday. Zuoling arrived early at the spot he had arranged with Xianxia but found Li Tong there instead. This made Zuoling anxious. What if Li Tong saw him with Xianxia? No, he couldn't let Xianxia come over now. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he could put on a good show in front of Li Tong. Zuoling quickly found a phone and called Xianxia. Hey Xiaoxi, something came up today. My mom isn't feeling well, and I have to take her to the hospital, so I can't meet you. Sorry, let's go watch a movie next week instead. Upon hearing this, Xianxia became very nervous. Is Andy okay? Which hospital are you at? I can come over and visit. As a girlfriend, she naturally had to visit when her boyfriend's mother was sick, bring some good nourishing gifts to make up for her previous rudeness, and also take the opportunity to foster a good mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. Zuoling continued, Xiaoxi, it's not necessary to go through all that trouble. My mom, she doesn't have a serious problem. It's cold now and there are many germs in the hospital. If my mom transferred her illness to you, then I'd be the guilty one. Just take good care of yourself at home for now. I have to go now, bye. Xianxia wanted to say more, but the call had already been disconnected. He was in such a rush. But thinking that Zuoling's intentions were for her own good, Shangguan's heart grew sweet as honey. After hanging up, she thought she shouldn't keep Zuoling waiting any longer. She had to quickly get her family's approval for her marriage to Zuoling. To win over her family, she had to first convince Grandma Shangguan. Once Grandma Shangguan gave her approval, nobody would dare to object. Thinking this way, she brewed 2 cups of ginseng tea and headed to Grandma Shangguan's room. Since it was Saturday, Grandma Shangguan was sitting on the couch chatting with Shangguan Farong. "Grandma Aunt Farong, this is the ginseng tea I've just made. Aren't you going out to have fun today, Xiaoxi?" Shangguan Farong asked with a smile. She smiled. "I was planning to go see a movie with Zuoling, but his mother suddenly got sick, so we cancelled today's date." Shangguan Farong took a sip of the ginseng tea. "Xiaoxi, are you and Zuoling still dating?" "Yes," she nodded. "This child is too stubborn. Everyone in the family says that Zuoling isn't suitable, but she is set in her ways." Grandma Shangguan turned to Shangguan Farong. "Farong, do you know what Zuoling proposed to Xiaoxi with?" Thinking of this, Grandma Shangguan's heart filled with indignation. She could rant about it to Shangguan Farong for days on end. Shangguan Farong responded with surprise, "My goodness! Zuoling has proposed?" "Yes, he did." Grandma Shangguan continued, "This scatterbrain niece of yours agreed too. Xiaoxi, bring out the engagement ring Zuoling gave you, let Aunt Farong have a look." She said exasperatedly, "Grandma, why do you still remember this? Didn't Zuoling already buy me bird's nest? Besides, he also gave me a watch later on." Shangguan Farong was confused. "Mom, Xiaoxi, what are you talking about? I don't understand." Grandma Shangguan recounted the whole incident to Shangguan Farong. After understanding the full story, Shangguan Farong said, "Xiaoxi, your grandma is right, you are too naive. I think this Zuoling is trying to pull a fast one. But in the end, he still bought me bird's nest and a watch." She protested. "Xiaoxi, you are just too young," Shangguan Farong continued. "Marriage is a lifelong matter, how could you be so hasty in deciding? Besides, look at the young ladies around you besides you, who is wearing a ring made of wild grass. From this, it's clear that Zuoling doesn't value you at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1044, It's Always Crazy Once, Part 4. Upon finishing her words, Shangguan Farong continued, "Moreover, I suspect that those birds' nests and watches weren't even bought by him. A man who can use wild grass to propose, what else can't he do? If the Zuo family couldn't afford a ring, that would be one thing, but money is certainly not an issue for them, which indicates that Zuoling doesn't really care about Shangguanxi. What kind of good life can you expect with a man who doesn't hold you in his heart? Little aunt, Zuoling really isn't like that. I've known him for 3 whole years. And I also feel that a ring is not practical, it just gets in the way when worn on the hand." Compared to that, she preferred birds' nests and watches. Shangguan Farong helplessly shook her head. "Xiaoxi, I think you're completely bewitched." Madame Shangguan picked up the conversation. "Xiaoxi, not only does your little aunt disagree with you being with Zuoling, but even your great aunt thinks that there's a big problem with Zuoling's character. The whole family opposed this marriage, and only Shangguanxi herself couldn't see the actual truth. Perhaps this is what it means to be blind when you're involved in the situation." Shangguanxi said very firmly, "I don't care. I just want to marry Zuoling." "I don't agree." Madame Shangguan was just as firm. "Xiaoxi, your mother passed away early and I have a responsibility towards you. I can't just watch you jump into a pit of fire with my own eyes." "Grandma, please." Shangguanxi clung to Madame Shangguan's arm, nearly in tears. "Zuoling and I truly love each other. He's not a pit of fire. Please bless us." Madame Shangguan was no fool. She knew she couldn't afford to be soft-hearted at this time, because Zuoling was not a good man. At the side, Shangguan Farong tried to persuade Shangguanxi, "Xiaoxi, your grandmother is only thinking of your best interests. We won't speak of family backgrounds, but just consider Zuoling's character. He's not worthy of you. And besides, his family situation is too complicated, with 7 sisters. If you really marry him, you're going to regret it one day." Although Zuoling claimed that his family didn't favor boys over girls, Shangguan Farong felt he was lying. How could such a family not favor boys? "No, I won't regret it." Shangguanxi continued, "And there's no problem with Zuoling's character at all. Everything he does is for my sake. He has my best interests at heart." Shangguan Farong shook her head helplessly. "Grandma, I beg you, I've never asked you for anything from when I was small until now. This is the first time, please agree, will you? All those in love are the same, they long to be with the one they love and pray for their family's blessing. The so-called feelings of happiness and sweetness fill their hearts completely, making them deaf and blind to everything else. They focus solely on being with their loved one, unafraid of even a future of hardship and darkness. Xianxia was a prime example. She was someone who would disregard everything for love. In life you have to be crazy at least once. Madame Xianxia understood Xianxuan's nature well. If she were to refuse outright, she feared that Xianxia might do something extreme. She sighed and said, "Xiaoxi, let me think about it." Hearing this, a glimmer of hope flashed in Xianxuan's eyes. "Grandma, do you agree?" Madame Xianxia said, "I can't give you an answer just yet whether I agree or not. I'll let you know when I've made up my mind." As long as Madame Xianxia was willing to compromise, it meant there was still hope for the matter. "Xianxia," she said with a smile, "then Grandma, you must think it over. Zuoling really is an outstanding grandson-in-law, you'll never regret marrying him." All right, Madame Xianxia waved her hand, "Go on out, I have some things to discuss with your little aunt." As she spoke, Xianxia turned and walked out. "I'll go then. Whenever you're ready, Grandma, just let me know." After Xianxia had left, Madame Xianxia sighed, "This child, Xiaoxi, is really becoming more and more like her mother." Su Fun back then was even crazier than Xianxia. They were both people who would do anything for love. Xianxia Furong nodded and sighed, "Yes, Xiaoxi has grown up so fast, but some things feel like they only happened yesterday." As she spoke, Xianxia Furong's tone changed as she continued, "But Mom, do you really plan on agreeing to Xiaoxi and Zuoling being together? Do you think I, as her grandmother, could just watch her jump into a pit of fire?" Madame Xianxia retorted. "Is this a delaying tactic?" Xianxia Furong asked. Madame Xianxia nodded. "Xiaoxi can be quite extreme sometimes. If I didn't say it this way, I'm afraid she would do something earth-shattering." Xianxia Furong sighed softly, "But this can't continue forever. You can't keep dragging it out, can you?" Madame Xianxia looked up at the window. "Let's wait until Yang comes back tonight, then I'll discuss it with her. That child is the cleverest when it comes to ideas." Later that night, when Yang came back, Madame Xianxia eagerly pulled Yang into her room to talk about Xianxuan's situation. Upon hearing it all, Yang said with a smile, "Grandma, you don't need to worry about this matter. I believe that in a few days Sister Xiaoxi will break up with Zuoling on her own." "Really?" Lady Xianxia couldn't believe her eyes as she looked at Yang. Yang nodded slightly. "Really? Yang, do you know something? Or did you do something?" Lady Xianxia asked out of curiosity. Yang responded with a mysterious smile, "It was just a little trick." Yang trusted herself and she trusted Li Tong. Hearing this, Lady Xianxia instantly felt relieved and said with a smile, Yang, with your words I can rest easy." The next day was Sunday, and Cuihua and Xianxuan Dehui went to the orphanage as usual. Time flew by and another week passed. That week, Zuoling was still incredibly busy, so busy that he barely had the time to see Xianxuan. Today was an exception. Zuoling, afraid that Xianxuan might suspect something, said first, "Xiaoxi, have you and your family discussed our marriage?" Upon mentioning this, Xianxuan looked at Zuoling with a face full of guilt. "I'm so sorry, Zuoling, for making you wait so long. I've already talked to my grandmother, but she hasn't given me an answer yet." Zuoling took Xianxuan's hands and spoke tenderly, "It's okay, Xiaoxi, I understand you and I can wait for you." On closer inspection, Xianxuan was actually even more beautiful than Li Tong. But Li Tong was better at dressing up. Each had their own merits, and if possible, Zuoling truly wished he could have them both. Unfortunately, that was not possible. If only Xianxuan had a background like Li Tong. Then he would definitely choose Xianxuan. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Xianxuan was just a country girl. Zuoling no longer wanted to play act with Xianxuan, especially since Li Tong was now more important. But he had already wasted a full 3 years on Xianxuan and recently even gave her bird's nest and a watch. These gifts couldn't just be for nothing, and those 3 years couldn't have been wasted. So, he wanted to extract some interest from Xianxuan. Oh. Of course, by sleeping with Xianxuan. During their years together, aside from occasionally holding hands, they hadn't even shared a kiss. Zuoling's calculating mind was working overtime, but Xianxuan was completely unaware that she had become prey in Zuoling's trap. "Xiaoxi, do you have time this Saturday?" "Yes," Xianxuan nodded. Zuoling followed up, "Then let's meet at the cafe under the blossom on Saturday." "Okay, Zuoling, don't worry. I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer on Saturday," And on that day, I also have a long-hidden secret to tell you. This secret was something Xianxia had intended to reveal to Zuoling the previous week, but it was postponed due to his mother falling ill. Ordinarily, Zuoling would have been curious about Xianxua's secret, but today he was not curious at all. The person he wanted to marry wasn't Xianxia, so naturally he had no interest in her secrets. In fact, if Zuoling had asked now, Xianxia would have told him about the issue with her family background, because she felt guilty towards Zuoling. Unfortunately, Zuoling didn't ask. It didn't matter if he didn't ask, she would personally come clean on Saturday. After exchanging a few words with Xianxia, Zuoling returned to his office. As soon as he had settled into his seat, Li Tong leaned over to ask him a question. Zuoling could distinctly smell the fragrance of Li Tong's perfume, and it immediately stirred his desires. When he returned home in the evening, his mother came to him again, speaking ill of Xianxia. She hoped her son would give up on Xianxia and marry Qin Liebao. Zuoling said with a smile, "Mom, I think you're right, Xianxia really isn't my match." "Oh my dear son, you've finally come to your senses," his mother said excitedly. "Then tomorrow I will go to the Liebao family and settle things between you and Liebao." Zuoling continued, "Qin Liebao isn't my match either. Mom, you're underestimating your son. Compared to Li Tong, what was Qin Liebao worth? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1045. Everything is under control, fifth watch. Zuo's mother was flustered. It was normal for Xianxia not to match Zuoling, but why now did Qin Liebao also not suit him? "Lingling, could it be that you're dating someone new?" Zuoling shook his head. "Mom, do you know who is pursuing me now?" Although Li Tong hadn't explicitly pursued him, she had always been showing him goodwill and even moved to the same office as him. Wasn't that pursuing him? "Who?" Zuo's mother asked. Zuoling proudly said, "Our factory manager's niece." "The factory manager's niece?" Upon hearing this, both Zuo's father and mother widened their eyes in surprise. My goodness, their son was too impressive. He was even getting chased by the factory manager's niece. Zuoling continued, "Also, our factory manager's situation is quite special. She's over 50 this year, never married, and has no children. When she gets older, the factory will definitely go to her niece." Before Zuoling could finish, Zuo's mother impatiently said, "My goodness, Lingling. Then you'll be the big boss of the factory in the future." Zuo's father equally excitedly said, "I always knew our Lingling was capable." Zuoling nodded smugly. The entire Morning Light group would be his in the future, how could he not be proud? At this moment, Zuoling was also feeling lucky. Thankfully he hadn't married Xianxia. If he had, wouldn't he have missed out on Li Tong and the position as factory manager? Zuo's mother then asked, "So, have you broken up with Xianxia yet?" Zuoling shook his head, "I haven't had the chance to break up yet. I plan to clarify things with her this week." Zuo's mother said, "Don't wait for this week, just clear it up tomorrow. And remember, make her return the bird's nest and the watch. If she refuses, I'll go to her myself." Zuoling continued, "Mom, don't worry, I know how to handle it." Zuo's mother then asked, "What's the name of your factory manager's niece? How old is she this year?" Zuoling said, "Her name is Li Tong. She's very beautiful, just a few years older than me." Had this been in the past, Zuo's mother definitely would not have approved. Joking aside, her son was so outstanding, how could he settle for an older wife? But now, in the face of money and background, none of these were problems. As the saying goes, an older woman brings gold bricks, the older the better. Zuo's father nodded in agreement. "I think what your mother is saying is quite right, Lingling, you can't disdain her." Zuoling smiled and said, "Don't worry, Mom and Dad, I absolutely won't disdain her." Zuo's mother continued, "Yesterday Liebao brought more bird's nest and ginseng. Mom will use a beautiful box to package it, you take it to Li Tong." Zuoling said, "Mom, now that I'm going to be with Li Tong, please don't let Qin Liebao come to our house anymore. What if Li Tong misunderstands?" Besides, now just seeing Qin Liebao was revolting. Zuo's mother said, "That won't do. If Liebao stops coming, who will bring bird's nest and ginseng to our house? Who will buy your clothes? Once you and Li Tong's relationship is confirmed, only then can I clarify things with Liebao." Zuo's mother was no fool. How could she sever ties with the Qin family while things were still uncertain? You know, half of the Zuo family's sustenance was provided by Qin Liebao. Qin Libao's could be considered a money tree for the Zhuo family. Now it was perfect to use Qin Libao's gifts to support Li Tong. Zhuo's mother's abacus clicked very loudly. Everything was within her calculations. Concluding her words, Zhuo's mother continued, Lingling, keep up the effort on your end, try to win over Li Tong as soon as possible, preferably make it a done deal so she can't leave you. Only then can I comfortably reject Libao. Okay mom, Zhuoling nodded. On the other side. As Saturday was quickly approaching, Xianxia found her grandmother. Grandma, have you finally decided about me and Zhuoling? She was truly very anxious. This time she didn't want to disappoint Zhuoling again. She wanted to give an explanation both to herself and to Zhuoling. Grandmother Xianxia said, Marriage is a lifetime affair. Xiaoxi, what's the rush? I still need to think it over. Xianxia speechlessly said, But you've been thinking for more than a week. Grandmother Xianxia chuckled, All good things take time, don't be anxious, Xiaoxi. These words were instructed by Ni Yang to say. Ni Yang's exact words were that within this week, Xianxia would definitely have a change of heart and see Zhuoling's true face. All she needed to do was to keep delaying Xianxia. Xianxia knew that her grandmother was intentionally dragging out the time. She might as well not say too much to the elderly Mrs. Xianxia. After all, no matter how much she said, they would never approve of her relationship with Zhuoling. It seemed she had to resort to desperate measures now. That very night, Xianxia sneaked into the study room and managed to get a hold of the family household registration book. She planned to confess her true family circumstances to Zhuoling on Saturday and, while at it, register their marriage. Once it's done, let's see what everyone has to say then. Time flew by quickly and soon it was Saturday. Dressed and ready, Xianxia headed out to her appointment. But strangely, when she arrived at the cafe under the flowers, she did not find Zhuoling there. Normally he would arrive more than an hour early. Could something have held him up? Xianxia randomly picked a seat and sat down, and right then a waiter approached her. Excuse me, are you Miss Xianxia? Xianxia nodded. The waiter handed her a note. This was left for you by a Mr. Zhuo. Upon reading the note, she found that Zhuoling actually had arrived earlier, but had to cancel their meeting due to an unforeseen emergency. Xianxia sighed in disappointment. She had even planned a surprise for Zhuoling. Such unexpected turns of fate. It looked like they wouldn't be able to register their marriage today, and she wasn't even sure if Zhuoling would be available tomorrow. With a gloomy face, Xianxia left the cafe, her good mood from the morning completely gone. Having wandered aimlessly around the streets for several laps, she was just about to head home when a car suddenly stopped in front of her. The car window slowly rolled down to reveal a stunningly beautiful face. It was Ni Yang. Yang. Xianxia looked at Ni Yang in surprise. During the car ride, the two chatted and decided to head to the biggest mall in Beijing. The mall was bustling, filled with the festive spirit as the new year approached. Yang, what kind of clothes do you want to buy? Asked Xianxia, linking arms with Ni Yang. Ni Yang looked around. Definitely a Cheongsam. Cheongsams were versatile. They could be paired beautifully with long down jackets or long wool coats. Xianxia said with a smile, I envy you. You can wear a Cheongsam anytime. She too wished to wear Cheongsams, but she didn't think she had the figure for it. Cheongsams were extremely picky, not just in terms of facial appearance but also body type, especially the latter. Even the slightest flaw could be accentuated. Yang. Another voice echoed through the air. Ni Yang looked up to see it was Du Jiao. Sister Jiao. Hey pretty Xiaoxi, shopping for clothes too? Du Jiao came over with a smile. Ni Yang nodded. Yes, Sister Jiao, are you also here to shop? Why don't we shop together? Of course, I was just about to say that. Their jovial conversation caught the eye of Wu Yanyan, who was also there to shop. Normally she would have greeted Du Jiao, but with Ni Yang present, she chose to ignore Du Jiao. From Du Jiao's perspective, she could detect Wu Yanyan's evasive gaze. Pretty lady, what's going on with you and Yanyan? Ni Yang was taken aback. She had never discussed matters concerning Wu Yanyan with anyone, so how could Du Jiao know about it? Du Jiao recounted an incident where Wu Yanyan had spoken ill of Ni Yang behind her back. Hearing this, Xianxia covered her mouth in shock. Oh my! How could Yanyan do something like that? Even Ni Yang didn't expect Wu Yanyan to stoop to such mean-spirited actions. It seemed she really despised her to the marrow. Du Jiao continued, and just now she clearly saw us but didn't come over to greet us. That's really odd. Pretty lady, what's really going on between you and Yanyan? Du Jiao was extremely curious. Ni Yang's eyes remained calm, It's complicated and can't be explained in just a sentence or two. Actually, Yenyun is my younger sister, blood-related. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1046. Scumbag exposes true colors, awakening, 6th update. Facts were facts and Ni Yang did not want to conceal anything. Du Jiaojiao looked at Ni Yang in surprise. No wonder I always thought you two looked a bit alike. Although Wu Yenyun did slightly resemble Ni Yang, her features were not as stunning. Beauty lies in the skin as well as in the bones. Compared to Ni Yang, Wu Yenyun lacked a lot of natural charisma. Wu Yenyun was the gentle lady locked in the boudoir, while Ni Yang was indeed the world-conquering beauty in brilliant attire. These two, fundamentally, couldn't even be compared. Ni Yang just smiled. When Du Jiaojiao learned that Ni Yang had saved Old Master Du, she thoroughly investigated Ni Yang's background. She knew about Ni Yang's life experiences. She also knew Ni Yang had 3 sisters who were abandoned due to the preference for a male child. Does Yenyun know she is your sister? Du Jiaojiao continued to ask. Ni Yang nodded. She knows. Du Jiaojiao then said, is she blaming your grandmother for abandoning her and that's why she bears a grudge against you? Maybe. Ni Yang's tone was indifferent. She blames me and my mother for not protecting her. Du Jiaojiao frowned slightly. It's understandable that she blames your aunt, but if she also resents you, then that's unreasonable. How old were you at that time? What could you have done? Ni Yang was also just a child at that time. She probably had only just started to walk steadily. How could she have stopped Grandma Mu from throwing away the children? Ni Yang just smiled silently. Du Jiaojiao continued, have you explained it to her? I have, Ni Yang shrugged, but she wouldn't listen. Not only did she not listen, but she also saw Ni Yang as a completely wicked villain. Fortunately, Ni Yang was rather open-minded and didn't mind these issues. If it were someone else, Wu Yanyun's heartless words could probably kill them with frustration. Du Jiaojiao sighed. Every family has its own troubles. Alright, let's not talk too much about this, let's go over there and take a look. Ni Yang nodded, took Sheng Guanzai's hand and followed Du Jiaojiao's steps. After the 3 of them left, Wu Yenyun emerged from behind the cover. She had a hunch. They were just discussing her. Ni Yang must have spoken ill of her to Du Jiaojiao. Stirring up trouble, reversing right and wrong. Perhaps by now, she's already a villain who cannot discern good from evil in Du Jiaojiao's eyes. It was so unbearable. Why should Ni Yang malign her behind her back? Wu Yenyun bit her lip hard, her face full of resentment. Yet now, aside from feeling aggrieved, she had no other option. Ni Yang was too shrewd, winning hearts effortlessly. Even if she rushed to explain, Du Jiaojiao wouldn't believe her. In front of Ni Yang, she had no choice but to accept her fate. But she didn't want to. Ni Yang didn't have as much drama as Wu Yenyun. During the dress fitting, her pager beeped. Seeing the message on the pager, Ni Yang's mouth curved slightly, and she turned her head to call Shang Guanxi, Sister Xiaoxi. Shang Guanxi was busy picking out clothes for Zuoling. Hearing Ni Yang calling her, she turned her head towards Ni Yang. Yang, what's the matter? Ni Yang continued, Sister Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel like drinking Dubai pear juice. Could you buy me a bottle? I've walked too much today, I really can't walk anymore and they sell it right over there. Shang Guanxi nodded. Sure, Sister Jiaojiao, would you like one too? I'll get you one. Du Jiaojiao smiled and said, that would be kind of you, Xiaoxi. You're welcome. With that, Shang Guanxi picking up her bag walked in that direction. The moment Shang Guanxi left, Wu Qinjun arrived. Yang, what did you want to see me for? Ni Yang smiled and said, let me introduce you to my good friend Du Jiaojiao. Sister Jiaojiao, this is my sister's admirer, Wu Qinjun. On hearing this, Wu Qinjun's face flashed an awkward expression. He had never shown any irregular behavior in front of Ni Yang, and he didn't know how Ni Yang had figured it out. Truly impressive. No wonder Shang Guanxi liked her little sister so much. Ni Yang turned her gaze to Wu Qinjun. Brother Wu, do you like Sister Xiaoxi? Yes. Ni Yang was somewhat impressed by Wu Qinjun's courage to admit it publicly. It seemed that the elders in his family had not misjudged him. Wu Qinjun was indeed someone to whom one could entrust their life. Ni Yang nodded and smiled. So, would you like an opportunity to make a move now when she's vulnerable? Ah. Wu Qinjun was stunned, not immediately grasping Ni Yang's meaning. Ni Yang pointed in a direction. Sister Xiaoxi went over there. You can go find her. Whether you can win Sister Xiaoxi's heart during this opportunity is up to you. Now Wu Qinjun understood. And Yang was trying to matchmake him with Shangguanxi. Thank you. Wu Qinjun seriously said his thanks and then strode in that direction. If this worked out, he would definitely thank Yang properly. Du Jiaojiao came over and nudged Yang's arm. Beauty, what kind of potion are you selling in your gourd? Yang smiled and said, probably matchmaking potion. She genuinely hoped that Shangguanxi would find true happiness that belonged to her this time. As Shangguanxi walked along, she suddenly saw a very familiar figure. That was Zuoling? Shangguanxi was stunned. Wasn't Zuoling supposed to be busy with something? Why was he here? And the woman standing next to Zuoling looked somewhat familiar. Was that Li Tong? Working in the same department, Shangguanxi had some impression of Li Tong. Why was Zuoling with Li Tong? Just as Shangguanxi was about to approach Zuoling at that moment, Zuoling suddenly took Li Tong's hand. Yes, he took Li Tong's hand. Shangguanxi froze, her footsteps halting. What was happening? Just then she heard Zuoling continue, Tong, I like you. I've liked you for a long time. What? Shangguanxi's face turned pale, her blood running cold at that moment. Was she hallucinating? Li Tong curved her lips into a smile, her gaze passing Zuoling and looking toward Shangguanxi across from them. You like me? Isn't Shangguanxi your girlfriend? You have a girlfriend, how can you say such things to me? Aren't you afraid Shangguanxi will hear and get angry? Zuoling was stunned. He hadn't expected Li Tong to know about his and Shangguanxi's relationship. But Zuoling quickly recovered, his expression filled with affection. Shangguanxi? What is Shangguanxi? She doesn't even compare to your little finger, Tong. The person I like is you. I want to be with you. Could you give me a chance? Li Tong raised her eyebrows. You shouldn't say that. You've been with Shangguanxi for 3 years. If you don't like her, how could you endure her for 3 years? Tong, listen to me, I really don't like Shangguanxi at all, I don't feel anything for her. The only reason I've endured her for 3 years is because she kept pestering me relentlessly. I was driven to a corner, that's why I reluctantly agreed to her. Otherwise, how could a country bumpkin like Shangguanxi ever match up to me? Pestering relentlessly? So she was just a persistently annoying country bumpkin. That's just ludicrous. Shangguanxi never imagined that one day she would hear such disheartening words about herself from Zuoling. Tears blurred Shangguanxi's sight unknowingly. Li Tong continued, I don't see Shangguanxi as that kind of person. How can you prove what you're saying is true? Zuoling immediately held up 3 fingers. I can swear to the heavens. Li Tong laughed. If swearing were effective, then there wouldn't be so many heartbreakers in this world. How do I know you're not lying to me? Besides, I heard you've already proposed to Shangguanxi. This Li Tong was indeed the factory director's niece. She had quite the intelligence network. She even knew about that. At times like this, instead of denying everything, it might be better to just admit it openly. Perhaps Li Tong might even admire him more for it. Zuoling said, actually, the proposal wasn't really my intention, I just wanted to placate her. Otherwise I wouldn't have come without even preparing a ring. Tong, you know what? I just took a ring made of wild grass. She still agreed. Can you believe it? Shangguanxi must be a fool. Ah. Li Tong chuckled, then she really is a fool. Shangguanxi treated Zuoling like a treasure, but in his eyes she was even less than grass. What else is that if not foolishness? Hearing this, Shangguanxi could no longer bear it and turned around and walked away. She was too heartbroken, not even watching where she was going, and bumped directly into a wall of people, her tears instantly staining the person's clothes. What's wrong, Shangguanxiaoxi? Who bullied you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1047, Confession, Part 7. Hearing the familiar voice, Shangguanxi couldn't control herself anymore and hugged his waist directly. She burst into a loud cry. The feeling was like that of a child who had been wronged, suddenly seeing an adult from home. All the grievances were infinitely magnified at that moment. Wu Qinjun froze, not knowing what to do. He said, tell me who bullied you. I'll go get revenge for you. Not only did Shangguanxi not answer Wu Qinjun, but she cried even louder. There weren't many reasons that could make Shangguanxi cry so heartbroken. It must be because of some pretty-faced boy. With slightly furrowed brows, Wu Qinjun looked up ahead. Sure enough, he saw Zuoling not far away, laughing and chatting with another woman. This pretty-faced boy, having Shangguanxi so good and not cherishing her, actually went to flirt with other women. Wu Chenjin's eyes filled with anger. Is it Zuoling, that pretty-faced boy who bullied you? Wait. I'll go beat him up right now. Daring to bully Xianxia. He doesn't see whose woman Xianxia is. Wu Chenjun released Xianxia and strode over towards Zuoling. Don't go. Xianxia reached out and grabbed Wu Chenjun's hand. Wu Chenjun could easily have brushed off Xianxia's hand. But he just couldn't. His hand felt electrified, tingling all over. Don't go. Xianxia choked up. Could you take me away from here? She didn't want to face Zuoling, nor did she want Zuoling to see her in such a sorry state. She just wanted to leave this place immediately. Okay. Wu Chenjun gripped Xianxia's hand firmly, shielding her in his arms and using his suit jacket to cover her face, striding toward the exit. Passers-by looked on curiously, but none saw Xianxia's discomposure. Wu Chenjun escorted Xianxia to the car. Where do you want to go? Xianxia shook her head. I don't know. Zuoling was her first love, and the one she wanted to marry ideally. The sudden turn of events made her feel as if her world had collapsed. The whole world turned dark. Wu Chenjun reached out and ruffled Xianxia's hair. It's just a man, isn't it? Xianxia, are you that frail? I remember the old you wasn't like this. Xianxia glared at Wu Chenjun, her voice still thick with tears. What do you know? You've never been in love. How do you know I've never been in love? Wu Chenjun countered. Xianxia was taken aback. Have you? It made sense after all. Wu Chenjun had been abroad for so many years, how could he have never been in love? Wu Chenjun smiled and handed Xianxia tissue. Want to wipe your tears? You're stronger than me, at least you once had love while I never even had that. There was a trace of forlornness in the depths of Wu Chenjun's eyes. Xianxia casually wiped her eyes. What do you mean? Wu Chenjun fell silent. I mean, it's about being secretly in love. Xianxia, after all these years, how can you still be as clueless as before? His remark was ambiguous. Everyone around him could see that he liked Xianxia, except for Xianxia herself. In fact, Xianxia really hadn't noticed. You have someone you secretly like? Wu Chenjun was handsome, well-educated, from a good family, and had studied abroad. Xianxia thought he surely wouldn't lack girlfriends. It was unimaginable that Wu Chenjun had someone he secretly admired. Truly incredible. Wu Chenjun said with a smile, You can have a boyfriend, why can't I have someone I secretly admire? Xianxia sniffled, I didn't mean that. My point is your standards are so high, what kind of girl wouldn't be satisfied with you? Wu Chenjun sighed, I also want to ask her what she doesn't like about me so I can change. Unfortunately, she doesn't even want to give me a chance to change. Xianxia sighed too. Wu Chenjun, you are so pitiful. Compared to her, Wu Chenjun indeed seemed to be a lot more pitiful. This comparison made Xianxia feel a bit more balanced in her heart. It seems that in this world she wasn't the only pitiful person. I'm so pitiful, does it make you feel a little better? Wu Chenjun turned his head to look at Xianxia. Xianxia paused for a moment, then said, Wu Chenjun, you're not making up this story just to comfort me, are you? Do I look like that great of a person? Wu Chenjun retorted. Seemed, not really. Wu Chenjun continued, I'm serious, do you want me to go beat up that pretty boy? There's no need. Xianxia shook her head. Wu Chenjun frowned slightly. You still have illusions about him? That made sense. 3 years of a relationship was not something you could let go of just because you said so. A mysterious expression surfaced in the depths of Wu Chenjun's eyes. It felt like he was a little short of breath. Upon hearing this, Xianxia immediately denied, How could that be possible? I'm not an idiot. After all Zuoling has done, why would I still harbor any illusions about him? Why wouldn't you let me beat him up then? Wu Chenjun countered. Xianxia said, Because I'm afraid he'll dirty your hands. For a scumbag like him it's not worth it at all. Xianxia had a clear sense of love and hate. At this point she had completely given up on Zuoling. Her family was right, a person with character issues like Zuoling simply didn't deserve her. She deserved better. Now she regretted not listening to her family earlier and leaving Zuoling sooner. At the same time, Xianxia was also thankful that she had uncovered Zuoling's true colors early. If she had found out after getting married, it wouldn't have ended well. Thinking back, she realized how foolish she had been. To be deceived by Zuoling so completely, she should have realized long ago that Zuoling had ill intentions. Wu Chenjun's eyes lit up as if he had come back to life. Are you speaking truthfully? Xianxia nodded. Of course it's true. Wu Chenjun then said, If it's the truth, then why are you crying? 3 years, I wasted 3 years with him. My heart isn't made of stone, how could I not have any reaction? That was the prime of her youth. Wasting 3 precious years on a scumbag like Zuoling, how could Xianxia not feel upset? Wu Qinjun was still a bit worried. What if he turned over a new leaf? Would you forgive him? No. Xianxia said firmly. A scumbag is a scumbag. Even if he's reborn, as long as he's still Zuoling, I will never forgive him. A smile slowly appeared on Wu Qinjun's lips. Really? Happiness came so unexpectedly he couldn't believe it. What should he do? Of course it's true. Xianxia affirmed resolutely. Having known Xianxia for so many years, Wu Qinjun knew well that she was a woman of her word. Since Xianxia was so certain, she definitely wouldn't rekindle the past flame. That meant his chance had arrived. Wu Qinjun started the car. Shall I take you home now? Xianxia shook her head. I don't want to go home right now. Wulao-san, let's go for a drink? Can we go to Blue Night Bar? No matter the era, there's never a shortage of nightlife. By 85, Beijing already had several bars. Wu Qinjun thought for a moment. Are you sure you want to go to the bar? Xianxia nodded. I've never been to a bar my entire life. Can you take me just this once? Wu Qinjun hesitated, then nodded. All right. Bars in the 80s were a bit different from those in later years. Bars of later times were glitzy and extravagant. At present, bars were simply places for drinking, not only orderly but also quite elegant, open even during the day. Xianxia ordered 2 pitchers of beer in one go. At first it was fine, but after a couple of glasses she started crying while drinking. Usually prim and proper, Xianxia became a different person when drunk, hugging Wu Qinjun and cursing out Zuoling. Wu Qinjun just played along with her antics and joined in the cursing. Meanwhile, Anai Yang and Du Jiaojiao were still picking out clothes. Du Jiaojiao was a shopping guru, and in no time she was carrying 7 or 8 bags. Anai Yang also selected a Chong Sam for herself, along with a coat and a down jacket, and bought a set for each of the 3 elders, her parents and little Anai Yin at home. The beauty Xiaoxia hasn't returned yet. Are you sure she's alright? Du Jiaojiao was a little worried about Xianxia. She has Wu Qinjun with her, she'll be fine. Wu Qinjun grew up with Xianxia since childhood, and he was a gentleman. Anai Yang wasn't worried about Xianxia at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1048. Grandpa Du is furious. Do you no longer wish to live? 8 updates. Du Jiaojiao nodded her head. It's getting late, let's go for dinner. Sure. After all, Anai Yang's task was already fulfilled. This way. Du Jiaojiao linked her arm with Anai Yang's. Anai Yang pointed in another direction. That way seems to be closer. Du Jiaojiao said, my younger brother is waiting for me over here. Is your big brother here too? Du Jiaojiao said, he originally didn't want to come, but since he hasn't left the house for several days and I find shopping by myself too boring, I dragged him along. In reality, having the eldest Du around was the same as not having him around. Because he hardly walked a few steps with Du Jiaojiao. There was a rest area inside the department store. With the new year approaching, the area was filled with people. Yet Wu Yinyun spotted Elder Du at a glance. He was sitting amidst the crowd, with one hand holding Buddhist scripture, the other turning a page. His pale palm was adorned with Buddha beads that, maybe due to being worn for a long time, were smooth to the point of shining like bright night pearls, dazzling under the light. Wu Yinyun was momentarily startled, then turned to look at her reflection in the mirror. Today she was wearing a white down jacket and small leather shoes, her hair was tidy, her face was clean, and after some time spent on self-care, the sickly and gaunt Wu Yinyun of the past was gone. Now, reflecting off the glass was a completely transformed Wu Yinyun. She and Anai Yang were blood sisters, and she didn't think she was much less attractive than Anai Yang at this point. So now, Wu Yinyun had enough confidence to greet Elder Du. Wu Yinyun turned slightly, preparing to walk over to Elder Du, but at that moment she froze. Because someone had beaten her to it. It was Anai Yang. Again it was her. Was she doing it on purpose? A layer of anger surfaced in the depths of Wu Yanyun's eyes. Doesn't Anai Yang already have a boyfriend? Why does she always crowd around Elder Du? Does she really think of herself as some kind of fairy, that all the men in the world have to like her? Wu Yinyun clenched her fists so hard her face turned white with rage. Over here. Du Jiaojiao, still arm in arm with Anai Yang, said, I'm going to have dinner with the great beauty. Are you coming? 2 girls going to eat together? If there was any private talk, having a man like him around was inappropriate anyway. Elder Du raised his eyes slightly. I'm not hungry, you two go ahead. Are you sure you're not going? Du Jiao asked. Elder Du shook his head. No, I'm not going. All right then. Du Jiao didn't press further. Well, the beauty and I are leaving. Go ahead. After saying this, Elder Du added, by the way, where are you going to eat? I'll have the driver come pick you up later. And Yang said, no need to trouble yourself, I'll take Sister Jiao back after we eat. Elder Du didn't stand on ceremony either. Watching Yang and Du Jiao leave, color finally returned to Wu Yanyan's face as she trotted over to Elder Du. Mr. Du. Elder Du frowned slightly. And you are? He had always had a poor memory for people who were irrelevant to him. At his words, Wu Yanyan felt a moment of dejection. She had met Elder Du several times already, yet he still didn't remember her. Was she really that unremarkable? I am Wu Yanyan, she said. Oh, having been reminded, Elder Du seemed to recall, you're Yang's younger sister. Elder Du couldn't remember Wu Yanyan's face, but he did remember her name. Because Yang had mentioned it more than once in front of him. Yang's younger sister? Wu Yanyan lightly bit her lip as a surge of indignation rose within her. In Elder Du's mind, was she merely the existence of Yang's younger sister? No. She wasn't Yang's younger sister. Nor was she an accessory to anyone else, she was herself. She was Wu Yanyan. This time she was determined to make Elder Du remember her clearly. I'm not Yang's younger sister. That kind of person doesn't have the right to be my sister. Du Grandpa slightly frowned, a surge of nameless anger suddenly rising in his heart, but his face remained as gentle as ever as he sized up Wu Yanyan with a cool tone. Ugliness breeds mischief. Ugliness breeds mischief? In an instant Wu Yanyan was stunned. Du Grandpa's words felt like a bucket of cold water had been poured over her face, leaving her humiliated and furious. She had never imagined that Du Grandpa would say such a thing to her. Shouldn't Du Grandpa be asking her why she said those things about Yang? Wu Yanyan had even prepared her defense in her mind. If Du Grandpa asked her, she would expose the Ni family's contemptible acts of gender preference. Let everyone know Yang and the Ni family's deeds. Then see if Yang would still have the face to appear before Du Grandpa. But he didn't. Not only did Du Grandpa not ask anything, but he also uttered hurtful words without the slightest concern for her dignity. However, judging by Du Grandpa's demeanor, she knew him not to be a man who cannot distinguish right from wrong. Could it be that Yang had poisoned Du Grandpa's mind against her? Yes, it must be so. Previously, Du Grandpa had been very polite to her, and if Yang hadn't said anything, Du Grandpa would not have suddenly turned like this. What on earth did Yang want? She was the victim, the child who had been abandoned, and she had hardly done anything till now, but Yang wouldn't let her go. What? No, she couldn't let Du Grandpa misunderstand her any longer. Chasing after Du Grandpa, Wu Yanyan stepped outside. Mr. Du. Wu Yanyan grabbed the hem of Du Grandpa's long robe. Respect yourself. Du Grandpa flung Wu Yanyan's hand away. Unprepared and on the slippery snowy road, Wu Yanyan tumbled to the ground. Quite embarrassingly. But Wu Yanyan couldn't care about that now, she just wanted to expose Yang's true face to Du Grandpa. Mr. Du, you must not be deceived by Yang. She's a person with double standards. I am her biological sister, born from the same mother, yet because they favored boys over girls they abandoned me. Later, when Yang knew for sure I was her sister, she hid it on purpose for fear I would take the Ni family's property. And moreover, she deliberately appeared before you, she wanted to seduce you. Yet she already... Just then Wu Yanyan's voice suddenly got stuck in her throat as if someone had pressed pause. Because Du Grandpa's hand suddenly gripped Wu Yanyan's jaw, tightening progressively while his slender knuckles turned white. The force was so great that pain twisted Wu Yanyan's facial features. Do you want to die? Although he was a follower of Buddhism at this moment, he was enshrouded in a sinister aura, instilling a deep fear from the bones. Too terrifying. Having known Du Grandpa for so long, Wu Yanyan had never realized he had this side to him. Just when Wu Yanyan felt she was about to die, Du Grandpa gradually released his grip. Wu Yanyan watched Du Grandpa's fading back in a daze, gasping for air. After a long while, Wu Yanyan got up from the ground and walked home. Once home, Wu Yanyan hid in her room under the blanket and sobbed her heart out. It wasn't until dinner time that Wu Yanyan came out of her room. Yan Erju was startled to see Wu Yanyan's spiritless appearance. Xiaoyan, what's wrong with you? You're so pale. Are you feeling unwell? Wu Yenyun shook her head. Mom, I'm fine, just have a bit of a headache, maybe I caught a cold while wandering the mall this afternoon. Yen Erju followed up, let's go to the hospital and have a look. No need, it'll be fine after eating and getting some sleep. Yen Erju frowned, if you're not feeling well you must tell us. Okay, Wu Yenyun nodded. After Wu Jinshu returned home, Yen Erju told him about Wu Yenyun feeling unwell. Wu Jinshu worriedly suggested, shall we go check on Yenyun now? A headache is no joke. Okay. The couple approached Wu Yenyun's bedroom door and knocked for a long time, but there was no response from inside. Fearing that Wu Yenyun might be in trouble, they found a key and opened the door. They saw Wu Yenyun lying on the bed, her face abnormally red, lips covered with layers of white film. Yen Erju touched Wu Yenyun's head and exclaimed, my God! She's burning up. Yenyun is running a fever. Wu Jinshu said, I'll go and get the bicycle ready, you help Yenyun put on a coat and let's rush her to the hospital. All right. As the Wu family's house was ideally located close to the hospital, the couple pushed the bike and in about 20 minutes, they had taken Wu Yenyun to the hospital. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1049. Break up with the scumbag. 9 more. After the doctor's examination it turned out to be a viral cold, nothing serious. A couple of 4 saline drips and some medicine would do the trick. Hearing this, Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju breathed a sigh of relief. On the other side, after drinking, Shangguanxi and Wu Qinjun returned home. It was already nearing midnight. As if knowing that Shangguanxi would return late tonight, the gates to the Ni family household were left open. Just as Wu Qinjun's car pulled up to the gate, Ni Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui walked out from inside. Uncle, Auntie, Wu Qinjun helped a completely inebriated Shangguanxi out of the car. Is Xiaoxi okay? Ni Tsuehua asked worriedly. Wu Qinjun, feeling somewhat embarrassed, replied, she's fine, just had a bit of beer. I'm sorry, Uncle and Auntie, I didn't keep an eye on her. Shangguan Dehui smiled and said, it's okay, Yang has already explained the situation to us. Qinjun, thank you for being there for Xiaoxi at this time. At times like this, compared to family, Wu Qinjun, who grew up with Shangguanxi, was more suited to be by her side. There are things one can't say in front of family, but there are no such taboos with friends. Moreover, from a selfish point of view, Shangguan Dehui was very satisfied with this young man he had watched grow up. Ni Tsuehua helped Shangguanxi into the house. Shangguan Dehui stayed back to chat with Wu Qinjun for a few moments. The hangover was truly unpleasant. When Shangguanxi woke up, it was already past 10 the next morning. Thinking back to yesterday, it felt like a dream. When she thought of Zuoling again, Shangguanxi felt not just a tinge of sadness but, more so, anger. What a scumbag. She hadn't expected him to be such a person. Shangguanxi freshened up, got dressed and headed downstairs. Good morning, Sister Xiaoxi. Ni Yang greeted Shangguanxi with a smile as she sat at the dining table. Good morning, Yang. Thinking of yesterday's events, Shangguanxi felt something was off. Yang, did you already know about Zuoling? It couldn't have been such a coincidence. Now that she thought about it, there was no reason for Ni Yang to have her buy pear soda out of the blue. And after she and Wu Qinjun left the mall, Ni Yang didn't page her either. Ni Yang didn't deny it and nodded, Li Tong is my friend. What? Shangguanxi looked at Ni Yang in surprise, unable to react for a moment. What was this situation? Li Tong was actually Ni Yang's friend. Ni Yang recounted the whole story. She had known for a long time that Zuoling was unscrupulous, which is why she had Li Tong test him, never expecting Zuoling to actually fall for it. Hearing this, Shangguanxi sighed endlessly. She wasn't unreasonable, she knew Ni Yang did this for her own good. She not only did not blame Ni Yang but also wanted to thank her. If it weren't for Ni Yang, she would still be in the dark about Zuoling. Yang, thank you. Ni Yang smiled and said, what are sisters for? Oh, and Sister Xiaoxi, don't be mad at Li Tong. She did what she did at my request. Shangguanxi nodded, don't worry Yang, I won't be mad at Li Tong. I need to thank her too. This matter was also greatly helped by Li Tong. Ni Yang continued, Sister Xiaoxi, don't be too upset, a scumbag like Zuoling really isn't worth your sorrow. There might not be lots of toads with 2 legs in this world, but there are plenty of men with 2 legs. Right? Shangguanxi nodded again, I understand, I'm not upset. Shangguanxi wasn't upset about Zuoling, she was saddened by the lost 3 years of youth. Now she only regretted not having seen Zuoling's true colors earlier. Seeing that Xianxia was in good spirits, and Yang also let out a sigh of relief. She had been worried about whether Xianxia would get over this hurdle. Now it seemed that Xianxia was much stronger than she had imagined. By the way, Sister Xiaoxi, when do you plan on breaking up with Zuoling? Just then the voice of the nanny filled the air. Xiaoxi, you have a phone call. Since there were elderly people at home and Nai Cuihua was busy with work, and Yang had hired 2 nannies from outside. Who is it? Xianxia turned and asked. It seems to be your boyfriend. The nanny had been working in the Ni family for more than a month and often received calls from Zuoling. Xianxia walked over and picked up the receiver. Hello. Zuoling's voice came from the other end. Hello, Xiaoxi, I'm really sorry about yesterday. My mom had another episode so I had to rush to the hospital, but I'm free today. How about we go watch a movie? Zuoling was very frustrated. Yesterday he confessed to Li Tong. But to his surprise, Li Tong rejected him. She even said he was a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. But it was clearly Li Tong who seduced him first, that wretched woman. If she weren't the factory manager's niece, he would definitely not spare another glance at Li Tong. To think she was something special. She doesn't even compare to 1/10,000th of Xianxia. Luckily, he hadn't confessed to Xianxia sooner, otherwise, it would have been all for naught. Listening to Zuoling's voice, a mocking look surfaced in Xianxuan's eyes. Did this Zuoling really think she was still the same naive Xianxia of the past? How ludicrous. Zuoling, let's break up. What? Zuoling thought he must be hallucinating. Was Xianxia breaking up with him? Xianxia loved him so much, how could she break up with him? Xiaoxi, stop joking around, this joke isn't funny at all. Xianxia said seriously, I'm not joking, Zuoling. How could a country girl like me be worthy of you? Upon hearing this, a shock went through Zuoling. He knew. He was finished. That scene from yesterday must have been seen by Xianxia. Otherwise, she wouldn't have said such a thing. Xiaoxi, things are not what you saw, I can explain. It was all Li Tong, that wench. She seduced me first. Beep beep beep. The busy tone came through from the other end of the phone. Ah. Zuoling smashed the phone in anger. What's wrong? Lingling, what happened? Zuoling's mother rushed out of the room looking anxious. Xianxia broke up with me. Upon hearing this, Zuoling's mother rejoiced. That's good news. After all, you were ready to break up with her. Zuoling's mother had never liked Xianxia anyway. Zuoling said furiously, but Li Tong didn't accept me. Li Tong rejected me yesterday. What? Zuoling's mother exclaimed in surprise. Li Tong actually rejected you? Didn't you say Li Tong liked you? What on earth is going on? Zuoling's mother was very anxious. She wanted to find Li Tong and ask about the situation personally. After all, Li Tong was a big catch. Without Li Tong, how would her son ever become a great factory manager? After a pause, Zuoling's mother continued, Lingling, don't worry. Maybe Li Tong is just testing you. She is, after all, the factory manager's niece with many responsibilities. Zuoling sighed. It's impossible now, there's no chance for me and Li Tong, because Li Tong made it quite clear yesterday. He couldn't possibly demean himself by pursuing Li Tong. So, he had to settle for second best and marry Xianxia, but now Xianxia had broken up with him too. Zuoling's mother frowned. Is it really impossible? Did you offend Li Tong in some way? With someone like Li Tong, who's such a pampered rich girl, her temper is quite fiery. Why don't you go and sweet-talk her again? It's no use. Zuoling flung away his mother's hand. That bitch Li Tong was just playing me from the start. She never liked me. Zuoling had never been played like this his whole life. He felt like a fool. Zuoling's mother was terrified. Lingling, don't get angry, Mom spoke out of turn. It's her loss for not fancying you. When you make it big in the future, she'll regret it. Even though there's no Li Tong, you still have Li Bao. In terms of family background, Li Bao is certainly not inferior to Li Tong. In terms of family background, Chen Li Bao was of course not comparable to Li Tong. But under the current circumstances, Zuoling's mother could only use this to comfort Zuoling. As a mother, she couldn't bear to see Zuoling so heartbroken. Enough. Don't talk anymore. Shut your mouth. Zuoling glared furiously at his mother. He looked petrifying. Zuoling's mother swallowed hard, afraid to upset her son further. Okay, Mom won't talk, Mom won't talk. An I family. Upon learning about Xianxia breaking up with Zuoling, old lady Xianxuan's spirits lifted considerably. Finally they had broken up. However, old lady Shangguan was still somewhat uneasy because Shangguan Shi and Zuoling had had a falling out once before but got back together not long after. Old lady Shangguan feared Shangguan Shi might pull a fast one on her again. Xiaoxi, you won't get entangled with that Zuoling kid again, will you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1050. Wu Yinyun critically ill, 10th update. What else could I have to do with Zuoling? Unless a donkey kicked me in the head. Shangguan Shi said with a smile. Grandma, rest assured, no more. Really? Really? Shangguan Shi nodded earnestly. I swear, if I'm ever stupid enough to be with trash like Zuoling again, may lightning strike me down. After receiving Shangguan Zai's promise, grandmother Shangguan finally breathed a sigh of relief. Shangguan Su, watching Shangguan Shi with a smile, said, Xiaoxi, you're finally thinking straight. When I knew you were dead set on marrying Zuoling, it worried me so much I couldn't sleep for several nights. Shangguan Shi raised an eyebrow. Really? You care about me that much? You're being heartless now. When have I ever treated you poorly? All right. Shangguan Shi said with a laugh. Big brother, you're always the best to me. Shangguan Su was then satisfied. Ni Yang raised his glass to Shangguan Shi. Sister Xiaoxi, congrats on escaping the wolf's den and being reborn. Also, hoping you'll find your ideal man soon. Speaking of an ideal man, I actually know one, Shangguan Su said thoughtfully. Who? Ni Yang played along with Shangguan Su smoothly. Shangguan Su looked at Shangguan Shi. Xiaoxi, how about I introduce you to a particularly outstanding young man? No thanks. Shangguan Shi immediately waved him off. I'm really not in the mood to think about these things at the moment. After all, she had just ended a relationship. How could she possibly be ready to accept a new one so quickly? Since Shangguan Shi disagreed, Shangguan Su, as her brother, couldn't force her. After dinner, Shangguan Shi took her prepared belongings and then went to work. The moment she got off the bus, she saw a familiar figure. It was Zuo's mother. Zuo's mother was not alone. She stood there with a very plump young woman. Upon seeing Shangguan Shi, Zuo's mother immediately said, There she is. Lai Bao, that's the shameless woman who tricked Lingling out of his bird's nest and watch. Indeed, the young woman standing beside Zuo's mother was Chen Lai Bao. Shangguan Shi had already broken up with Zuoling and naturally did not want to deal with Zuo's mother's attitude. Just as she was about to bypass Zuo's mother, the woman grabbed Chen Lai Bao's hand and blocked Shangguan Zai's path. Auntie, may I ask what the matter is? Shangguan Shi said as politely as possible. Zuo's mother did not speak and Chen Lai Bao, with her chin lifted, stared at Shangguan Shi. You shameless woman, hurry and return the things you gave to brother Zuoling. What? Shangguan Shi was taken aback. Chen Lai Bao, hands on her hips and a ferocious look on her face. You look decent enough, so why always do such shameless things? The bird's nest was for brother Zuoling's health, and the watch was a gift for his mother. It's really too shameful to even trick these things away. While being pointed at and scolded, Shangguan Shi wanted to get angry but she dared not. Because Chen Lai Bao was simply too fat. At least 300 to 400 pounds. How much did Shangguan Shi weigh? 98 pounds? Chen Lai Bao could pick her up with one hand. If it came to a fight, Shangguan Shi couldn't win against her, so at times like these, it was better to seek peace rather than conflict. Seeing that Shangguan Shi remained silent, Zuo's mother stepped forward. I'm telling you, Shangguan Shi, stop playing dumb. Hurry up and return the bird's nest and watch you tricked from Lingling. Now Shangguan Shi understood a bit more. She took out the box of bird's nests and the watch from her bag. Is this what you're talking about? Since she had broken up with Zuoling, she wasn't going to keep his things. She had intended to return them to Zuoling after getting to her unit. Yes, that's it. Chen Lai Bao snatched the items from Shangguan Zai's hands. You're such a shameless woman. To dare trick these away. Shangguan Shi was very angry, but she had to suppress the rage inside her. She hadn't dreamed that these items weren't even bought for her by Zuoling. And she never expected that her family's words would come true. Now I'd like to correct 2 points. First, these items were given to me by Zuoling. Second, I'm not a swindler. Chen Lai Bao rolled her eyes. If you weren't a swindler, would these things be in your possession? Just look at yourself in the mirror. Do you really think brother Zuoling would give you things? Such a shameless person. Shangguan Shi ignored Chen Lai Bao and walked around them, heading towards her unit. If she couldn't provoke them, couldn't she at least avoid them? Yet just as she reached the entrance of her unit, there was Zuoling waiting. Xianxia simply ignored Zueling. Zueling hurried to keep up with Xianxuan's pace. Xiaoxi, listen to my explanation. Things really aren't like that. Please give me another chance. Get lost. Of course, Zueling wasn't willing to get lost. He thought to himself, since Xianxia loved him so much, as long as he thickened his skin a bit more, she would definitely forgive him. Xianxia glanced at Zueling. Zueling, please keep your distance from me. I'm allergic to scumbags. If you keep this up, watch out, I'll call the police and accuse you of harassment. This is the workplace, don't make it awkward for everyone. After saying that, Xianxia turned and left. Zueling watched Xianxuan's retreating figure, opened his mouth to speak but then sighed and headed toward his office area. Just as he walked into the office, he noticed his colleagues were looking at him with odd expressions. Could it be that they all knew about his rejection by Li Tong yesterday? That bitch Li Tong. Just then, the manager came over and patted Zueling on the shoulder. Zueling, pack up and leave early. Zueling was stunned. Leave early? Leave early to go where? What do you mean? Zueling looked at the manager puzzled. The manager said, it means that you've been fired. Fired? Zueling couldn't believe what he was hearing. I haven't done anything wrong, on what grounds are you firing me? The manager continued, someone reported that you've been having inappropriate relationships. Is that reason enough? The 1980s were not like the future. Going back a couple of years, engaging in inappropriate relationships would not only result in being fired from your job, but serious cases could even lead to imprisonment. Zueling, I'm giving you face and I hope you'll wise up. Take this opportunity to pack up and leave before we put this on your record. Once this was recorded, it would become a lifelong stain for Zueling, and no company would hire him from then on. There was no need to guess, it definitely had to be Li Tong's doing. Yet, Zueling couldn't even vent his anger. Under someone's roof, one can't help but bow their head. Zueling went to his desk, gathered his things, and then left carrying a cardboard box. None of his colleagues with whom he used to be so close were there to see him off. Life could be so ridiculous. At lunchtime, Xianxia made a point of finding Li Tong and thanking her. Li Tong looked at Xianxia in surprise. You're thanking me? She had broken up Xianxia and Zueling logically. Xianxia should have hated her to the core, right? And yet, she was thanking her. Xianxia smiled. You let me see Zueling's true face. Of course I have to thank you. She wasn't a fool. Li Tong, without any reserve, put her arm around Xianxuan's shoulder. Xianxia, you're truly an Yang's sister. Such clear thinking. I like it. To be deceived by a scumbag to this extent, Li Tong had thought Xianxia was a blockhead. Unexpectedly, Xianxia was so smart, not foolish at all. Relations between girls are very simple. After chatting for more than half an hour, they established a profound revolutionary friendship, and after work they even went out to eat dinner together. At the Wu family. Wu Yinyun had been taking cold medicine for 5 days, but rather than getting better, her cold had gotten worse. She had developed a ring of blisters around her mouth, bright red and frightful to behold. Moreover, because of tonsillitis, she couldn't eat anything solid and could only consume liquid foods, causing her to progressively lose weight. Her symptoms were becoming less and less like a common cold, but when she went to the hospital for a checkup, the doctors all said it was just a cold. Xiaoyan, are you still in a lot of pain? Yan Erju looked at Wu Yinyun with reddening eyes. Wu Yinyun shook her head. Not only could she not eat, but she also couldn't speak. It was extremely uncomfortable. But to keep her parents from worrying, she could only say she wasn't in pain. Wu Jinshu hadn't been to the construction site for a day. Seeing Wu Yinyun like this, he was troubled. I heard Yang is good at medicine. Why don't we have Yang come and check on Yinyun? Upon hearing this, Wu Yinyun grabbed Wu Jinshu's wrist tightly, shaking her head vigorously. She didn't want it. Even if she were to die, she wouldn't want an Yang's treatment. Wu Jinshu sighed. Yinyun, at a time like this, you shouldn't be stubborn. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1051. Solving difficulties, killing 2 birds with 1 stone, 11 more updates. Don't want. She didn't want an Yang's treatment. She just didn't believe that if there wasn't an Yang she wouldn't be able to live. Wu Yanyun's emotions suddenly became agitated, and she abruptly sat up, pulling out the 4 from her right forearm. Although she couldn't speak now, she could prove her determination through her actions to her family. Wu Jinshu and Yan Erju were startled. All right. They'll just tell Yang not to come over then. Yanyan, don't be angry, don't be angry. Hearing Wu Jinshu say this, Wu Yanyan finally calmed down and lay back on the bed again, exhaling deeply. She didn't know what was wrong with herself, it was just a viral flu, but it felt worse than someone suffering from tuberculosis. Was she really going to die? No, she wouldn't. It was just a flu, she would get better. She would get better. Wu Yanyan clenched the bedsheets under her, her eyes filled with determination. Yin Erju went to find the nurse. Wu Jinshu sat in front of the bed, sighing with worry. Yang had arranged to go shopping with Han Xiaoyu today, but after waiting a long time at the agreed place, Xiaoyu hadn't shown up, so she reluctantly drove to the Han family's home. Is Xiaoyu home? Yang knocked on the door. Yang is here. Han Xiaoyu saw Yang and apologetically said, I'm sorry Yang, something came up at home, and I was so rushed that I forgot we had planned to meet today. Yang smiled and said, It's okay, but is everything okay at your place? Han Xiaoyu sighed, the factory closed down and my parents are unemployed. Yang was startled, then remembered that with the progression of the era and the increase in private businesses, this period was indeed seeing the first wave of layoffs. It was also a time when many unemployed workers ventured into business, becoming the millionaires and billionaires of later generations. But for many, unemployment made life difficult. The Han family had 3 children, all dependent on their parents working at the factory. Now, with both parents unemployed, it was indeed woeful. I remember your dad was the factory manager, right? Yang said. Yes, Han Xiaoyu nodded. Now all institutions are cutting back on staff, and my parents were out yesterday looking for work but found nothing suitable. It was mainly because Han's parents had high standards, and ordinary jobs outside their interests. A thought flashed through Yang's mind, I actually have 2 suitable jobs for your uncle and aunt. Really? Han Xiaoyu's eyes lit up. Really? Yang nodded. Han Xiaoyu smiled and said, then come in and let's talk about it. If my parents hear this, they'll definitely be very happy. Yang followed Han Xiaoyu inside. As there were visitors, Han's father and mother graciously welcomed them out. Yang is here. Hello, uncle and aunt, Yang politely greeted. This was Han's father's first meeting with Yang. Are you Xiaoyu's classmate Yang who topped the exams? Yang nodded. Yes, uncle, that's me. Han's father, who had always heard Xiaoyu talk about Yang, was finally seeing her in person today. After all, she was the top scholar, a status that, in ancient times, would have meant taking up a high official position immediately. Han's father said with a smile, please sit, the home is modest, don't mind it. Han Xiaoyu went to make tea for Yang. Yang continued, Uncle, aunt, I heard from Xiaoyu that you've been looking for work recently, is that right? Han's father was initially stunned, then said, yes. Yang said, I have a job here, do you want to give it a try? Han's father's eyes brightened, really? Yang nodded. Han's father then asked, what kind of work do you want to offer us? Do you think the 2 of us can handle it? I heard from Xiaoyu that uncle, you were previously a factory manager and aunt was in factory finance, right? Yes. Yang smiled and said, then I will hire you as the factory manager and aunt as the finance manager. The factory was almost built and the workers were mostly recruited, but they still lacked a factory manager and a finance manager. It just so happened that Yang was worried about finding an experienced factory manager, which solved an urgent need for her. It solved not only Yang's urgent need but also the Han family's. It was a win-win situation. Helping oneself can also help others. Upon hearing this, Mr. Han was shocked. Yang, you're not joking with me, are you? Factory manager? Mr. Han had never imagined that one day he would become a factory manager. Could one become the head of a factory that easily? Mr. Han felt that this matter was a bit unreliable. Although Yang was the top scholar in the nation, she was only an 18 or 19-year-old kid. Could she really manage a factory? Yang shook her head with a smile. Why would I joke with you? Mr. Han continued, then where is this factory you are talking about? What does the factory produce? Yang said, to be honest, the factory is my own. Her own factory? Not only Mr. Han was stunned, but so were Han Xiaoyu and Mrs. Han. Was she just boasting? Words alone aren't proof, so let's do this, I'll take you to the factory for a tour. Yang stood up. Considering her age, owning her own factory was indeed incredible. It was normal for Mr. and Mrs. Han to be skeptical. Thus, Yang decided to take them to Jianghu village to clear up their doubts. I'll go get the bicycle, Mr. Han said. Yang smiled, no need to ride a bicycle. I came by car today. Driving? Han Xiaoyu grabbed An Yang's arm. Oh my god, Yang, you drove here? Is it one of those four-wheel sedans? An Yang nodded, yes. Han Xiaoyu swallowed hard. Han Xiaoyu had always known that An Yang came from a well-off family, but she had no idea it was to this extent. A sedan. Ordinary families found it hard to even buy a bicycle, yet An Yang already had a sedan. Mr. and Mrs. Han exchanged glances, also seeing disbelief in each other's eyes. Could the child be playing a trick on them? Only when they all followed An Yang out and sat in the ordinary-looking but luxurious sedan, did they believe that An Yang was not lying. Han Xiaoyu, sitting in the passenger seat, exclaimed with excitement, Yang, you're so amazing. You can even drive a car. Oh my goodness. Don't laugh, but this is my first time in a sedan. Before long the car entered Jianghu village. Han Xiaoyu asked, Yang, does your family live here? Yes, this is Jianghu village. Han Xiaoyu said in amazement, your village is so nice. They even installed street lights. It's like the city, not like a village at all. Mr. and Mrs. Han nodded in agreement. Who would believe this was a rural area if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes? It wasn't long before they arrived at the factory. The factory had already been under construction for 2 months. The framework had already emerged because it covered a large area, making it look very imposing. There were about 10 more days to the New Year holiday, so the workers were working extra hard these days. An Yang treated them so well, they couldn't let the New Year delay the construction schedule. Seeing An Yang coming, everyone greeted her enthusiastically. It was evident from everyone's attitude that An Yang was very popular. Uncle and Auntie, this side is the production workshop, this side is the dormitory for the workers, this side is the canteen, and over here is the shower room. Seeing this scene with their own eyes, Mr. and Mrs. Han no longer had any doubts. An Yang then discussed her plans with Mr. and Mrs. Han. After all, Mr. Han had been a factory manager for over a decade and offered several valuable suggestions to An Yang. Meanwhile, the look in Mr. Han's eyes toward An Yang changed. Although An Yang was only a teenager, her knowledge and experience were far beyond that of her peers, even beyond what he could match. This was truly impressive. After they toured the factory, An Yang took Mr. and Mrs. Han to the An family home. Han Xiaoyu said, Yang, this is your house? An Yang nodded. Your home is really beautiful. There was heating in the living room on the first floor. An Yang took off her coat as they entered. Uncle and Auntie Xiaoyu, please have a seat. The nanny immediately went to make tea. Han Xiaoyu looked around the An family's living room, her eyes full of astonishment. She finally understood how Granny Lu felt when she entered the Grand View Garden. An Yang continued, Uncle and Auntie, the factory is expected to start operations after the second month of the new year. Regarding the salaries, the factory manager will get 280 yuan per month, and the financial manager will get 98 yuan. Such high salaries? Mr. Han was taken aback. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1052. Meta Benefactor, 12 more updates. You should know that before this, Han's father's salary was only 128 yuan a month. An Yang's salary was nearly more than double the previous amount. An Yang said with a smile, this is just the starting salary. After half a year it will increase by 100 yuan, and another 100 yuan after a full year. After 15 years there will even be a car reward. An Yang never skimped when it came to treating employees. Moreover, the greater the employee turnover, the greater the damage to a company. A truly good company has a very low resignation rate, practically none at all. Upon hearing this, Han's father's eyes widened in disbelief. Is that true or false? An Yang nodded. If you and Andy think it's suitable, let's find a time to sign the contract. Suitable? Of course it's suitable. With such good treatment, only a fool would disagree. At An Yang's warm invitation, Han's father and mother stayed in the An family house for dinner that evening. After dinner, An Yang drove them home. That very night, An Yang drafted the contract, and the next day he went to the Han family's home to have the contract signed. After An Yang left, Han's father looked at Han Xiaoyu with a loving face. Xiaoyu, you've really met your benefactor this time. An Yang was so impressive that Han Xiaoyu also felt honored. That's right, I've told you before, Yang is very amazing. Han's mother stood up and said, Yang has been gracious to our family. Our family must not forget this kindness in the future. Your mother is right, agreed Han's father with a nod. Han Xiaoyu smiled and said, Don't worry Mom and Dad, even if I forget someone, I won't forget Yang Yang. Meanwhile, Wu Yanyan's condition was getting more severe, and she had fallen into a coma, which led the doctor to suggest a transfer to another hospital. Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju were very anxious, and they transferred Wu Yenyun to the city hospital overnight. The conclusion from the city hospital was also that it was a cold. With reddened eyes, Yen Erju said, How could it be a cold? If it were really just a cold, it wouldn't be this serious. As she spoke, Yen Erju turned to look at Wu Jinshu and continued, Why don't you go to Yangyang anyway? Wu Jinshu frowned, but if Wu Yenyun found out, who knew how she might react? Yen Erju said, We're losing her life here. Why care about all that now? Alright, I'll go. Wu Jinshu went to the Ni family's house overnight. The snow was flying outside. When Ni Yang opened the door, Wu Jinshu was covered with a layer of snow, including his eyebrows which were all white. Ni Yang almost didn't recognize him. Yang. Godfather? Why have you come? Please come in quickly. Wu Jinshu followed Ni Yang inside. Once inside, Ni Yang poured a cup of hot milk tea for Wu Jinshu. Godfather, have some hot drink first to warm up your body. Wu Jinshu rubbed his frozen hands and immediately took the milk tea, drinking it in one gulp. Godfather, it's so late. You must have come to see me for something urgent? Ni Yang said. Wu Jinshu nodded, It's about Yenyun, she's fallen ill. Yang, you must save her. Ni Yang was taken aback. Godfather, don't panic, take it slow and tell me. On the other side, Ni Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui, hearing the noise, also came down from upstairs. After hearing the whole story, Ni Tsuehua was very nervous. How is Yenyun now? She's okay, right? No matter what, that was her daughter, she couldn't remain unmoved. Furthermore, Ni Tsuehua still felt guilty inside. Wu Jinshu sighed, The situation is very bad now, otherwise I wouldn't have come looking for Yang. Ni Yang put down the cup and looked up at Wu Jinshu. Godfather, the reason you didn't come before was because Yenyun wouldn't let you, right? It could be heard from Wu Jinshu's words that Wu Yanyun's illness had been dragging on for a long time. If Wu Yenyun hadn't stopped him, Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju would not have waited until Wu Yenyun had already fallen into a coma before coming to find her. Thus, Ni Yang could guess that previously, Wu Yenyun had stopped Wu Jinshu from coming over. Wu Jinshu was silent. Because Ni Yang had hit the nail on the head about the true circumstances. On the other hand, who would want to get involved in such a thankless task? If Ni Yang saved Wu Yenyun and she recovered, what would happen if rather than being grateful she blamed Ni Yang for meddling in her affairs? Wu Jinshu sighed softly. Now even if Ni Yang truly ignored Wu Yenyun, he had no right to blame him. Forget it. They would think of other methods. Ni Tsuehua was also stunned, having been preoccupied with worrying about Wu Yenyun, she had overlooked this point. Ni Yang then said, Saving a life is urgent, Godfather, let's go. Ah. Wu Jinshu was startled. He hadn't expected Ni Yang to come up with such a statement suddenly. He had even been prepared for Ni Yang to refuse. Unexpectedly, Ni Yang had agreed at this moment. Ni Yang said with a smile, I am a doctor. In the face of life and death, I cannot remain indifferent. It also goes against my teacher's admonitions. Besides, our Ni family owes Yenyun a life. This time, it's as if I am returning what our Ni family owes her. A life for a life. Was fair. In doing so, it would also make Ni Tsuehua feel better so she wouldn't always feel as though she owed Wu Yenyun something. Once there was a sense of debt in one's heart, it would become a burden, and Ni Yang didn't want Ni Tsuehua to feel burdened. Wu Jinshu's eyes reddened. Yang, thank you. Ni Yang put on his coat, donned his scarf. Let's go. I'll go with you, said Ni Tsuehua. I'm coming too, said Shangguan Dehui. When several people arrived at the hospital and saw Wu Yanyun's condition, Ni Yang was also taken aback. Because Wu Yanyun's situation was quite serious. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, it would be difficult to associate her with the lively Wu Yenyun of before. Ni Kuihua's eyes immediately reddened, and she leaned on Shangguan Dehui's shoulder, gently sobbing. It's okay, Dia, Yenyun will definitely be fine, Shangguan Dehui consoled her. Ni Yang sat down to take Wu Yanyun's pulse. After a long while she finally released Wu Yanyun's wrist. Ni Tsuehua hurriedly asked, How is she, Yang? Ni Yang said, Don't worry, it's not a big problem. That's good. Ni Tsuehua breathed a sigh of relief. Then what's wrong with Xiaoyun? Yen Erju asked. Ni Yang said, It's a viral cold caused by an allergic reaction. They'll give her some acupuncture first, and then after taking 2 doses of traditional Chinese medicine, she should be fine. Is it really just a cold? Wu Jinshu was somewhat surprised because the hospital treatment had not been effective, and they had thought it was not a cold. And Yang nodded, it's a cold, but it's quite different from a regular cold. It's a sequelae of external allergies, so common cold medicines are not only ineffective but can also aggravate the condition. If it were any later, the problem would have been rather tricky. And Yang wasn't exaggerating. If it had been delayed another day or two, and the virus had invaded the heart and lungs, Wu Yenyun would have been beyond saving. It was also her fate not to die yet. Yen Erju wiped her tears and said, "This child is so stubborn. Your godfather has been saying we should have you come take a look, but she just wouldn't agree. Otherwise it wouldn't have dragged on this long. Godmother, don't worry. I'm going to give Yenyun acupuncture right now. After the acupuncture she can be discharged. I'm going to talk to Yenyun's chief doctor to see if he can arrange a sterile room for us." After all, this was in a hospital. If acupuncture were done recklessly in the ward, there could be a risk of infection. Wu Yenyun's chief doctor was an old doctor in his 50s. After hearing what Yang had to say, he immediately arranged a sterile room for her. Finally he asked, "Young lady, is your name Yang?" Yang nodded, "Yes." "So you're the divine doctor who cured Mr. Abner's mother's stubborn illness?" "Wow. I finally met the real person today." The doctor excitedly shook Yang's hand. Mr. Abner's mother's illness had seen countless big hospitals, but no doctor was sure they could cure her. However, not long ago Mr. Abner's mother unexpectedly recovered fully. This could be described as a medical miracle. And the person who cured her was just a girl in her teens named Yang. From then on, Yang was called the Divine Doctor by scholars in the medical field and became a legend in the field. Before Yang could say anything, the old doctor continued, "Right, Divine Doctor, when you do the acupuncture later, can I let our hospital's doctors observe and learn from the side? Ancient medicine is a legend of China. If it could be integrated with Western medicine, it would surely benefit mankind. A doctor's heart is benevolent." Yang was never a stingy person. "Of course, no problem." The old doctor didn't expect Yang to agree so readily and said stunned, "Then thank you, Divine Doctor. I'll go tell everyone now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1053, Completely Give Up, 13th Update. Although Yang was performing acupuncture on Wu Yenyun with many doctors standing by, she was not nervous at all. She remained as composed as ever. Her movements in inserting the needles were smooth and flowing, and from a distance, there was even a hint of an artistic martial flair. The doctors watching were dumbfounded. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, who would believe that a teenager could be so skilled? After more than 2 hours of acupuncture, Wu Yenyun's condition gradually improved, and her originally pale face started to turn rosy, with the blisters on the corner of her mouth also shrinking. While they hadn't completely disappeared, they were at least not as disturbing as in the beginning. Ancient medicine is truly miraculous. Our ancestors' legacy is indeed marvelous, isn't it? After the acupuncture session, Wu Yenyun was taken out, and Yang was surrounded by a group in the middle, answering various medical questions. Although she was younger than everyone present, her aura was not the least bit diminished. With confident eyes and sophisticated speech, she provided the most professional answers to the most complicated problems, earning everyone's genuine admiration. Yang's tone was neither fast nor slow, perfect for the doctors to take notes. One of the female doctors felt more and more familiar with Yang as she watched. "Little Divine Doctor, you're the national top scholar of this year, aren't you?" Yang had appeared on television 3 times this year, so anyone who had seen the news would have some impression of her. Yang nodded with a smile, "Yes." The female doctor covered her mouth and exclaimed, "Oh my! Oh my! I knew you looked familiar. So you are the national top scholar in Yang, right? My child adores you. Could you give me an autograph?" "Of course." The female doctor was thrilled to death, passing her notebook to Yang. "Little Divine Doctor, please sign here. My child is taking the college entrance exam next year. Ever since he saw your news, he's been so much more diligent in studying, and even says he wants to be the top scholar too." As Yang took the notebook, she asked, "What's your child's name?" "Qin Haoren, Haoren as in the great poet Meng Haoren." N.I. Yang nodded and wrote on the notebook. Through a decade of toiling over books under a cold window, all in hope of being honored on the list of success, wishing student Wang Haoren leaps through the dragon gate like a carp. December 20th, 1985. Signed, N.I. Yang. The characters N.I. Yang wrote were powerful yet unrestrained, impressively beautiful. The female doctor received the notebook with both hands. Thank you, little divine doctor. Our child will be so happy to see this. You're welcome, N.I. Yang said with a slight smile. When she returned to the ward, N.I. Yang was surprised to see N.I. Tsuehua and Shengwan Dehui standing outside and asked, Mom and Dad, why are you standing outside? It was winter and the corridor was so cold. N.I. Tsuehua sighed, looking somewhat upset. Well, Yenyun has woken up. Has she started making a fuss again? N.I. Yang spoke in an indifferent tone, her rhetorical question sounding more like a statement. N.I. Tsuehua nodded. Not only had Wu Yenyun made a fuss, but the words she uttered were particularly nasty. Very hurtful. N.I. Tsuehua couldn't bear to hear them, and she thought that if N.I. Yang heard them, she probably couldn't bear them either. N.I. Yang's eyes remained indifferent. Let her fuss. What's out of sight is out of mind. After all, we don't owe her anything anymore. N.I. Yang had long been disappointed in this sister. Wu Yanyun's reaction after waking up was also within her expectations, so she was not surprised at all. Shengwan Dehui nodded. Yang is right, Dia, we don't owe Yenyun anything anymore and you don't have to feel guilty either. Whether as her mother or as N.I. Yang being her sister, you both have done very well. You don't owe her anything. There's no need to always indulge her. In Shengwan Dehui's view, Wu Yenyun truly lacked any sense of gratitude. If she had even a shred of gratitude, she wouldn't have treated N.I. Tsuehua like this today. By now, N.I. Tsuehua had also come to a realization. From now on, she would act as if she had never given birth to this daughter. Just then Wu Jinshu came out of the ward, his face filled with shame as he said, Yang, Dad Yang, Mom Yang, I'm so sorry. It's our fault for not raising our child properly. Even though Wu Jinshu had been mentally prepared, he still didn't expect Wu Yanyun's reaction to be so extreme. She was not only ungrateful but turned out to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Aside from apologizing, Wu Jinshu could think of no other solution. So, just then, a vase was thrown from inside and smashed against the door. Crash! It shattered to pieces. Without a doubt, it was Wu Yenyun who had thrown the vase, and the situation inside the ward must have been very bad. Wu Jinshu's brow twitched and his feelings of guilt intensified. N.I. Yang shook her head and handed Wu Jinshu a piece of paper. Godfather, this is the prescription. I've written down the specific dosages and how to brew it. Just follow the instructions and if you have any problems you can contact me. She now had no relationship with Wu Yenyun, so whatever Wu Yenyun did, she wouldn't be upset. Sister or not, she wasn't worth it. Wu Jinshu said, Yang, thank you. I will talk to Yenyun and persuade her well. N.I. Yang smiled and said, no need to persuade her anymore. You and Godmother raised Yenyun to adulthood, and both my mom and I really appreciate it. Unfortunately, Yenyun and I are not fated to be sisters, and she is not fated to be my mother's daughter either. From now on, I'll just act as if I don't have this sister. This was probably the first time N.I. Yang had spoken so harshly in front of Wu Jinshu. After a pause, N.I. Yang continued, but rest assured, I still hold firm to what I said before, you and Godmother will always be my godparents. After all, Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju saved Wu Yenyun, and that made them benefactors of the N.I. family. Wu Yenyun could choose not to acknowledge that. But the people who saved Wu Yenyun could not go unrecognized. No matter what, one shouldn't live without a conscience. Wu Jinshu's eyes reddened, suddenly at a loss for words. N.I. Yang was too sensible to the point where it made him feel guilty. If only Wu Yenyun could be a little sensible too, then he wouldn't be in such a difficult position. Actually, Wu Yenyun used to be very obedient and well-behaved. He didn't know when she had changed into what she was now. N.I. Yang went on, Yenyun has just woken up, so it's not good for her to get too agitated. You should go in and calm her down. Nothing is more important than her life. We will be heading back. Wu Jinshu insisted on escorting N.I. Yang and her company out of the hospital. After getting into the car, N.I. Yang asked, Mom, now that Yenyun is no longer connected to our family, can you really let go of her? N.I. Tsuehua looked out the window with a relieved smile. Just like you said, there's no mother-daughter fate between us. A melon forced is not sweet, let it go, I've come to terms with it. Now that her heart was unburdened, N.I. Tsuehua didn't owe Wu Yenyun anything anymore. It eases my mind to hear you say that. As time went by, the year-end was rapidly approaching. Today was the 28th of the 12th lunar month, and the day after tomorrow would be Chinese New Year's Eve. Since the new year was just around the corner, Yang had closed all of the pure jade skin stores and gave all the employees a 10-day holiday. In addition, she gave them a lot of New Year's gifts. Even though pure jade skin could earn a lot in a single day, she knew money was never ending. To Chinese people, celebrating the new year is of utmost importance, and she didn't want the employees to think of her as an inhumane boss. Besides, there's no end to earning money, it doesn't matter if she earns a bit more or less. Additionally, the Heavenly Fragrance restaurant also ceased operation for 10 days. They would resume work on the 8th day of the new lunar year. During these days, Wu Yanyan's health also improved day by day. Yan Erju smiled and said, "Yanyan, you owe a lot to Yang. Without her, you might still be lying in that hospital bed." At the mention of Yang, the smile on Wu Yanyan's face suddenly faded. "If she hadn't meddled, maybe I would have recovered a long time ago." "Yanyan? Did I say something wrong?" Wu Yanyan turned to look at Yan Erju. "Mom, don't forget Yang is just a doctor. Maybe all of this was a scheme she cooked up with the doctor. She wants me to be grateful to her. She wants me to forgive her." But Yang nearly cost her her life. Why should she forgive Yang? She would never forgive Yang. Yan Erju continued, "Yanyan, you have too many misunderstandings about Yang. She's not that kind of person and she would never do such a thing. It was her who did this." Wu Yanyan continued, "Firstly, she wanted to kill me because she was jealous of me. She was afraid I would compete with her for the inheritance. Secondly, she wanted to use this incident to make me forgive her. It's simply killing two birds with one stone. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1054. She's just like a joke, Chapter 14. But Yang never considered if she would care about the family's businesses. Did Yang really think they were the same kind of person? What a joke. Wu Yanyan now hated Yang so much. Hated her to the bone. Because of Yang's presence, she stole all the attention from those around her. Even the gentle and elegant Mr. Du was deceived by Yang. What gave Yang the right? In what way was she inferior to Yang? Why did everyone stand on Yang's side? Was this really fair to her? Yan Erju sighed helplessly. Forget it, I won't talk to you about it anymore and you shouldn't be angry. Anyway, Yang and her mother have already decided to cut ties with you. Even if you regret it now and come to your senses, it's too late." Wu Yanyan said, "I am the one who cut ties with them, not the other way around. They don't have the right to cut ties with me." Erju didn't continue the conversation. The room was just too stuffy. Wu Yanyan took a deep breath. "Mom, I'm going out for a walk." Erju nodded her head. The snow had just fallen, and the air outside was refreshing. Wu Yanyan, looking at the pure white surroundings, felt her eyes slowly start to moisten. She felt like a joke. Her adoptive parents didn't understand her. Any sorrow in her heart had to be suppressed by herself. Maybe this was the difference between biological and non-biological. After standing outside for a long time, Wu Yanyan finally calmed down and headed back inside. A little while later, Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong, having finished their snowball fight, came back in, and the atmosphere in the Wu family warmed up a bit. Wu Yanyan watched Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong, suddenly envious of these two younger brothers. If she had been born to Yan Erju, it definitely wouldn't be like it was today. The new year was fast approaching, so today Yang and Mo Chishan went together to the Mo family to visit the two elders. Knowing that Yang was coming, Old Master Mo and Old Madam Mo had prepared a pile of fruit and a table full of dishes early on. As soon as Yang and Mo Chishan entered the Mo family's gate, Mo Hudi dashed over from the side. "Sister Yang." Bang! Because of the sudden impact, Yang staggered, nearly falling backward, but fortunately, a hand swiftly supported her waist, its slender fingers giving a gentle pinch there. It felt tingling like a mild electric shock. Yang glanced back with a slight frown at Mo Chishan. Mo Chishan pursed his lips in a slight smile. "Let's go inside." "Shout I, you have to be careful next time, you almost knocked your future little auntie over just now." Mo Hudi tilted her head and laughed. Thankfully, little uncle was there to heroically save the beauty. "Little girl." Mo Chishan reached out and tapped Mo Hudi's head. Yang said, "Xiao Dai seems to have grown quite a bit taller again." Mo Hudi nodded vigorously. Right, Sister and I Yang, am now 1 meter 50. I grew more than 10 centimeters in the second half of the year. The heating in the Mo family's house was very warm, and as soon as Enai Yang entered, she took off her coat, which Mo Chishan smoothly took from her, draping it over his arm. Yang is here. Hearing the noise, old Master Mo and old Madam Mo came out from inside the house. Uncle, Auntie, Enai Yang greeted politely. You've lost weight, you're thinner again, old Madam Mo said, holding Enai Yang's hand. Is it because you've been under too much stress lately? Enai Yang shook her head with a smile. No, maybe I just naturally don't gain weight. Another reason was dietary therapy. Having stuck with it for so long, how could there not be any effect at all? But in the eyes of the older generation, being able to eat well is a blessing, and being chubby is even more so. Therefore, Enai Yang didn't mention the dietary therapy. Old Madam Mo said, You look so skinny, those legs and your waist, Chishan could break it with just one hand. Yang, you need to eat more. Only by eating more can you put on weight. Mo Kishan's gaze was indifferent. Although Enai Yang looked thin, her figure was very well proportioned. Where she should be slim, there wasn't an ounce of excess fat, and where she shouldn't be slim, she wasn't the slightest bit underweight. Thinking this, a deep color pooled in the depth of Mo Kishan's eyes, and he quickly averted his gaze, suppressing the jumble of thoughts at the back of his mind, picked up a cup from the table, and downed the cold water inside in one go. During dinner, Grandma Mo kept piling meat into Enai Yang's bowl. Enai Yang, unable to refuse the kindness, would pass the uneaten portions into Mo Kishan's bowl. Whether she had touched them or not, all of it ended up in Mo Kishan's bowl. Mo Chishan wasn't picky and accepted everything wholeheartedly. Most importantly, he seemed to really enjoy it. Seeing the affection between the young couple, both Grandpa Mo and Grandma Mo felt relieved. After the meal, Enai Yang and Grandma Mo chatted, while Grandpa Mo pulled Mo Chishan aside. Dad, did you want to see me about something? Without saying another word, Grandpa Zheng took out 2 cards from his pocket and stuffed them into Mo Kishan's pocket. Take these. What are you doing? Mo Chishan was taken aback. I'm giving you money. Grandpa Zheng looked at Mo Chishan as if he were looking at a fool. Mo Chishan helplessly handed back the cards to Grandpa Zheng. Dad, I'm not short on money right now. Nonsense. Grandpa Zheng's face hardened. Nowadays, young people need money for dining out, dating, attending concerts, watching movies. Doesn't each of these require money? I remember it's been a long time since your mother and I have given you money, right? You rascal, why act with pretension with your own parents? Just say if you are short on cash. You can't expect Yang to support you. At this, Grandpa Mo landed a kick on Mo Kishan's foot. Dad! Mo Chishan exclaimed, Are you serious? I am your own son. Grandpa Mo said proudly, If you weren't my own son, you wouldn't enjoy this kind of special treatment. Mo Chishan, Grandpa Mo went on, If you're running low on cash, just let me know. Don't even think about saving money when dating. Our family is wealthy and you don't need to save. Take the money. I really don't need money. Grandpa Mo glared at Mo Chishan, gruffly saying, If you say you don't need money one more time, it'll break your legs. Mo Chishan, fine, he would just keep his mouth shut. The father and son were talking at the stairwell turn, and just at that moment Xiao Yingying happened to be coming downstairs and saw everything. A sneer curled the corner of Xiao Yingying's mouth. This Mo Chishan was really too pathetic. How old was he, still taking money from his family? Mud is mud, it could never be put on the wall. Xiao Yingying shook her head, shedding the sneer from her face, and walked past the 2 men. Seeing Xiao Yingying, Mo Chishan frowned slightly. Why hasn't she left yet? Grandpa Mo said indifferently, It seems like Baichuan's aunt and uncle went abroad for a vacation, so she hasn't left yet. In the end, one more person is just another pair of chopsticks. Don't bother about her. Mo Chishan kept an impassive face and said no more. Xiao Yingying went straight to the living room and saw Enai Yang there. The mocking look in her eyes, which had faded, now re-emerged. She used to be so jealous of Enai Yang, but she wasn't the least bit jealous anymore. So what if Enai Yang was pretty? Being beautiful didn't change the fact that she was marrying a loser like Mo Chishan. Xiao Yingying didn't even want to greet them and left the Mo family's living room, just in time to run into Mo Baichuan and Zhao Jingrong at the entrance. Cousin. Yingying, where are you going? Asked Mo Baichuan. I'm going to the department store to buy some stuff, said Xiao Yingying, and as if she had just remembered something, she pulled Mo Baichuan aside, lowering her voice arrogantly. Cousin, let me ask you something. Go ahead. Xiao Yingying continued, Chinese New Year is around the corner. Will Mr. Mog come here to celebrate? Mo Baichuan sighed. Ying, how many times do I have to tell you? I don't know Mr. Mog. I really don't. Why did everyone think he knew Mr. Mog? Xiao Ying said disbelievingly. Cousin, stop lying to me. I'm your cousin. No matter if you beat Xiao Ying to death, she wouldn't believe that Mo Baichuan didn't know Mr. Mog. If Mo Baichuan didn't know Mr. Mog, then Mr. Mog wouldn't have brought a gift to Grandma Mo's birthday banquet. Did they think she was a fool? Xiao Ying went on. Cousin, just tell me. I swear I'll keep it secret. I won't tell anyone. Knowing when Mr. Mog would come over, she could also dress up and prepare. Ying, Mo Baichuan said with a frown. Stop messing around. Xiao Ying pouted. Don't tell me then. It's not a big deal. If not, she would just dress up beautifully every day after the new year. That way Mr. Mog would see the most perfect her. A faint smile crossed Zhao Jingrong's lips, her eyes filled with smugness. Perhaps Xiao Ying could never dream that Mo Baichuan was Mr. Mog. She looked forward to seeing Xiao Ying's reaction when she found out the truth. By then, the scene would certainly be very exciting. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1055, Boss Tricks Xianxia 15 Updates. Zhao Jingrong became increasingly smug and walked up to Mo Baichuan, whispering softly, Baichuan, let's go inside. Mo Baichuan nodded and followed Zhao Jingrong inside. Hiss. Just then a sharp pain shot through Zhao Jingrong's hand. Why was he suddenly using so much strength? Zhao Jingrong turned to look at Mo Baichuan, only to see his gaze fixed on the sofa in the living room. There were two people sitting on the sofa. It was Yang and Mo Qishan. Mo Qishan was peeling an orange for Yang, who was eating it and talking to Mo Qishan, a faint smile spilling over her lips, her eyes clear and bright, dimples shallow, a beauty almost like jade. How beautiful was Yang? Beautiful enough to make Zhao Jingrong, a self-important heiress, feel utterly astounded. Every encounter with her was dazzling. Yang was so beautiful and she was interested in Mo Qishan, that loser? Could it be that her intentions were not on the surface? Zhao Jingrong narrowed her eyes slightly, subtly withdrawing her gaze from Yang and turning towards Mo Baichuan. She now had an intuition that Yang had come for Mo Baichuan. Yes, it must be so. How could she do this? Yang was shameless. Mo Baichuan was her boyfriend. She wouldn't allow anyone to steal him away. Zhao Jingrong tightened her grip on Mo Baichuan's hand, determined to keep a close watch on him from now on. Uncle Six. Mo Baichuan greeted Mo Qishan respectfully as he walked over. Uncle Six, Miss Zhao Jingrong also greeted, following behind. Mo Qishan lifted his eyelids slightly. Yang nodded politely at Zhao Jingrong. Although there were some grievances between her and Zhao Jingrong, she was, after all, an elder, and elders naturally behave generously. Why bother with a junior? Zhao Jingrong smiled and said, Miss hasn't come with Uncle Six for a while, right? Yes, Yang nodded slightly. Your Uncle Six has been busy lately. He only just found time at the end of the year. Busy? Busy with what? Busy turning into a loser? Those words, only Yang could utter them without biting her tongue. Zhao Jingrong almost laughed out loud, the mocking expression in her eyes growing more apparent. Seems Uncle Six is indeed a very busy man, Zhao Jingrong said. Yang was non-committal, as if she hadn't understood the implication in Zhao Jingrong's words. Zhao Jingrong continued, I wonder what Miss has been busy with recently? Just casually keeping busy, said Yang in a light tone. Zhao Jingrong smiled and said, They say birds of a feather flock together. Uncle Six is a busy man, and so is Miss But who stays busy just casually? Miss must be busy with some great enterprise, right? The sentence was laden with heavy irony. Other than being beautiful, what other merits did Yang possess? Though she was the Zheng family's long-lost daughter, she was born a peasant, a true country bumpkin. How many notable ladies did she know in this circle? Compared with her, Yang couldn't even match a single strand of her hair. Zhao Jingrong intended to make Yang lose all face in front of Mo Baichuan thoroughly, to trample Yang underfoot completely. Only thus could she ensure that Mo Baichuan wouldn't be seduced away by Yang. Otherwise, Zhao Jingrong always felt uneasy. Yang smiled faintly, lowering her eyes towards Zhao Jingrong, her dimples shallow. Jingrong, let's go eat fish sometime, you seem quite good at picking bones. Eat fish? Yang wanted to go with her to eat fish? Zhao Jingrong was initially stunned, then realized what Ni Yang meant. Her face turned alternating shades of red and white, quite unsightly. Ni Yang, this vixen. She dared to mock her. Although Zhao Jingrong was furious inside, she still maintained a smile on her face. Miss Ni really has a sense of humor. Ni Yang's eyes and brows were clear and sharp. Jingrong, you're too modest. Jingrong is young and tends to speak out of turn, not a match for Auntie Six. If she has been offensive, I hope Auntie Six will show some mercy. Mo Baichuan intervened, trying to defuse the situation for Zhao Jingrong. Why was Ni Yang targeting Zhao Jingrong? It was just because Zhao Jingrong was his girlfriend. Ni Yang was jealous of Zhao Jingrong. Mo Baichuan knew Ni Yang too well. Everything she did was for him. Including Ni Yang's visit to the Mo family today, it was because of him. Ni Yang must have known that he would bring Zhao Jingrong home today, so she came back with Mo Qixin. However, Ni Yang was still stubborn, not admitting she liked him. He really didn't know what she meant by playing hard to get. Ni Yang knew Mo Baichuan's character well. She knew he must have fantasized about something again. She was really having a tough time. Ni Yang rubbed her forehead, feeling somewhat headache. Mo Qixin spoke lightly, "Nephew, if we are talking about age, Yang is even 5 years younger than your girlfriend. As a junior, she should act like one. Being young is no excuse for incompetence." "That's true," Mo Baichuan swallowed his words. After his uncle spoke, Mo Baichuan continued, "By the way, Uncle Six, Jingrong and I are planning to get engaged after the new year," he said, sneaking a glance at Ni Yang. Ni Yang looked indifferent, as if there were no particular emotions on her face. But Mo Baichuan knew Ni Yang hid all her feelings inside. Hearing this, Ni Yang must have felt extremely uncomfortable. Mo Qixin paused. "At the beginning of the year, I heard you two were planning to get engaged. Why hasn't it been settled yet?" These words made Zhao Jingrong feel uneasy too. Because at the beginning of the year Mo Baichuan did mention it, but then he got busy with work and never brought it up again. Eventually the matter was left unresolved. Now Mo Baichuan brought it up again. Could it be that he was serious this time? Mo Baichuan smiled. "Uncle Six has a good memory. I did mention it at the beginning of the year, but work got busy and it was put off. Now that I have time after the new year, we plan to finalize everything during that time." Zhao Jingrong's expression brightened. "Great. She finally saw the light after the long wait. Then let me congratulate you in advance," Mo Qixin said indifferently. "Thank you, Uncle Six." Feeling a bit suffocated by the atmosphere downstairs and Mo Baichuan's odd looks, Ni Yang turned to Mo Qixin. "Brother Mo, shall we go up to the Sky Garden for a walk?" "Sure," Mo Qixin nodded. Mo Baichuan watched Ni Yang's retreating figure, his eyes full of mockery. Was she unable to handle just an engagement announcement? What would happen on the day he and Zhao Jingrong got married? Yes, Ni Yang would definitely reveal her true colors then. He was looking forward to that day. On the top floor of the Mo family house, there was a transparent glass house filled with many flowers and plants. Despite it being winter, the glass house was blooming with flowers. Seeing the beautiful plants, Ni Yang's mood instantly improved. After walking out of the Sky Garden, Ni Yang and Mo Qixin played games in a room on the 3rd floor. Because Ni Yang really didn't want to see that narcissistic Mo Baichuan. And with Zhao Jingrong speaking sarcastically, and the new year approaching, Ni Yang didn't want to let insignificant people affect her mood. Mo Qixin held a game controller in one hand and picked up a cigarette with the other. Click, the lighter sparked, filling the air with a faint smell of smoke. "Yang, do you want one?" Mo Qixin smiled at Ni Yang. "No." Ni Yang spoke indifferently. "Smoking is bad for health, don't you know?" Mo Qixin took a deep drag on his cigarette, then blew a beautiful smoke ring. "Really don't want one?" "No." Ni Yang shook her head. Mo Qixin slightly raised his eyebrows. Before Ni Yang realized it, she was pressed down on the couch, a large shadow looming over her, his thin lips against hers, cool and tingling. He transferred all the smoke from his mouth into hers. The dense smoke hit her, and Ni Yang's eyes widened. He was too wicked. Using this trick. It was a long while before Mo Qixin let go of her, his tone low. "Tasty? Getting skillful?" Ni Yang slightly raised her eyebrows. "It's all thanks to the boss training." Mo Qixin's thin lips parted lightly. Your face is truly thick." Ni Yang reached out and pinched Mo Qixin's cheek. Mo Qixin wrapped his arm around her waist, resting his chin on her shoulder. Yang, how come I just like you so much?" Ni Yang smiled. "Men's mouths, deceiving devils. You like me now, but when I am old and faded, perhaps you won't like me anymore." If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1056. Grasshoppers after autumn are not to be feared. Chapter 16 update. Mo Qishan looked at Ni Yang and said seriously, I want. No matter when, I will never change my heart unless you reject me first. Really? Ni Yang slightly raised her eyebrows. Absolutely sincere, heaven and earth can witness. Ni Yang then said, I'm thirsty now, can you go downstairs and bring up my teacup? Right away. Mo Qishan immediately rose from the sofa and headed downstairs. Ni Yang had originally planned to return home in the afternoon, but after spending time with Mo Qishan, it suddenly became evening, so she ended up staying at the Mo family for dinner. Zhao Jingrong didn't go back either. Although old Madame Mo and old Master Mo did not like Zhao Jingrong, she was now Mo Baichuan's girlfriend, and since Mo Baichuan insisted on being with her, the elderly couple found it inappropriate to say anything. At the dinner table, Mo Baichuan brought up his engagement with Zhao Jingrong once again. Upon hearing this, old Master Mo looked up at Mo Baichuan. As long as you have thought it through, what about your parents, have you talked to them? He didn't want to persuade anymore at this point, because no amount of persuasion would be useful. Children and grandchildren have their own fortune. As long as his son and daughter-in-law were fine, he, as a grandfather, was fine too. Mo Baichuan nodded, don't worry, I have communicated everything with them. Old Master Mo said, as long as you have talked it through with them, just proceed with the arrangements when the time comes. Mo Baichuan was stunned for a moment, seemingly not expecting old Master Mo to be so easy to talk to. He thought old Master Mo would object. Zhao Jingrong sat shyly on the side, her heart sweet as if filled with honey. This was perfect. Finally they had reached this day. Soon she would be the envied Mrs. Mog. After the meal, Mo Qishan prepared to take Ni Yang home. Just as the two of them were about to leave, Ni Yang suddenly remembered she had left something upstairs. Thus, Mo Qishan went up to retrieve it while she went to the restroom. Coming out of the restroom, she was blocked by a tall figure. Ni Yang frowned slightly, looked up, and saw that it was Mo Baichuan. Seeing Mo Baichuan, Ni Yang felt overwhelmed. She didn't know why, although she hadn't done anything. Mo Baichuan always thought she liked him, self-confident without any reason. Mo Baichuan looked at Ni Yang and said word by word, Ni Yang, I'm giving you one last chance. I'm about to get engaged to Jingrong. By then, even if you regret it, it'll be too late. He was giving himself a chance and also giving Ni Yang a chance. He didn't want Ni Yang to have regrets. More importantly, he didn't want to have regrets himself. Ni Yang was astute, knowing that she was playing hard to get, yet he still fell for her irresistibly. Although Mo Baichuan didn't want to admit it, Ni Yang had indeed achieved her goal. Mo Baichuan, let me emphasize seriously one more time, I have no interest in you, not even a cent's worth. I only like your uncle Mo Qishan. Only him. Saying this, Ni Yang pointed to her head, if there's something wrong here, you should hurry to the hospital for a checkup. Don't fantasize all day, it's easy to develop a mental illness that way. Mo Baichuan's expression turned cold, Ni Yang, stop pretending. Is there any point in keeping up this act? Aren't you tired? Resisting the urge to curse, Ni Yang pushed Mo Baichuan away, her brow furrowed. Mo Baichuan, I'm now your uncle's girlfriend and I will be your future aunt. Please show some respect in front of your elders. With that, Ni Yang walked outside. Mo Baichuan was a martial artist and not many people could push him. Yet Ni Yang had done it, seemingly without much effort. Mo Baichuan watched Ni Yang's retreating figure, licked his molars, his eyes filled with dangerous intent. If that was the case, he could only let Ni Yang regret it herself. He would definitely give Zhao Jingrong an enviable, grand wedding. Ni Yang arrived at the door just as Mo Qishan came down from upstairs. Yang, your bag. Ni Yang took the bag and got into the car with Mo Qishan. Big brother Mo, I think your nephew has a problem. Ni Yang had wanted to discuss this matter with Mo Qishan. After all, couples should be open and honest with each other without any secrets. However, she was worried that if she spoke out, it might impact the relationship between Mo Qishan and Mo Baichuan. They say that beauty is a source of trouble and she couldn't bear being a sinner. After careful consideration, Ni Yang decided not to mention it. As long as she kept her distance from Mo Baichuan, that would be enough. Mo Qishan dropped Ni Yang off at Jianghu village. Yang, it's too late now so I won't go in. Tomorrow morning at 10:30, he'll come to pick you up. Pick me up to go where? Yang asked, somewhat curious. The day after tomorrow is New Year's. Let's go to Brother Dust's place tomorrow and have a look, Xianxia replied. Yang curiously said, isn't he going back to Shanghai for the New Year? He's not going back, Xianxia said. All right, Yang nodded slightly, I got it. Today was the 29th of the 12th lunar month, and the Ni family was bustling with activity. Almost everyone had gathered around the stove to fry New Year's treats. Stuff like meatballs, radish balls, lotus root balls, and they had to steam the steamed buns. This was the first time Xianxia had tried making these things by hand. She was making them while simultaneously chatting with Yang, and soon she had prepared a series of round, plump balls. Even Xianxia was sitting with his sisters, kneading dough. Old Lady Xianxia and Old Lady Zheng were in charge of the stove, one tending the fire and the other frying the balls. Cuihua and Xianxia Dehui had gone to rinse rice and wash vegetables. Close to the New Year holiday, not only had the factory workers taken time off, but the Ni family's nanny had also gone home for the holidays. Old Master Zheng was outside in the yard making a snowman with little Ni Yun. Old Master Zheng was usually quite serious, but he would instantly crack whenever he encountered little Ni Yun. When Xianxia arrived it was exactly 10:30, and upon seeing such a warm scene, he couldn't help but pick up his camera and take several photos. Yang, Xianxia called Yang. Yang glanced up and Xianxia took the opportunity to press the shutter. A flawless 365-degree angle photo was taken just like that. Brother-in-law, I want a photo too. Little Ni Yun huffed and puffed as she ran over, posing with a peace sign. Brother-in-law, I want a photo too. Duo, like a little parrot, flapped his wings and flew over as well. Once the photos were taken, Xianxia rolled up his sleeves and joined the team making the balls. Yang, surprised, said, I thought we were going to Brother Dust's place? Are we not going anymore? Well, go this afternoon. Oh. Yang nodded. After lunch, Yang and Xianxia left for the Du residence. You're going to Xiaodu's home, right? Here, take some steamed buns and lotus root balls with you. Old Lady Xianxia carried 2 bags to the car. Xianxia smiled and said, Grandma, you don't have to be so polite. You can buy these things outside. Old Lady Xianxia said, can those bought outside compare to ones made by hand? Take them. You can't get homemade ones outside. Then thank you, Grandma. Xianxia took the bags with both hands. Old Lady Xianxia smiled and said, why are you being so formal with me, child? Because of the New Year, the streets were very congested, with a festive atmosphere everywhere, except for the Du residence. Du Jiaojiao had returned to Shanghai for the New Year, Wang Ziki had also gone back to spend New Year's with his parents, and the remaining servants had taken leave as well, leaving old Mr. Du by himself. With the north wind carrying fallen leaves, the Du residence seemed exceptionally desolate. Upon entering, they immediately heard the sound of knocking on a wooden fish. Yang secretly sneered, wondering if this man really wanted to become a monk. How could he spend every day reciting scriptures and worshipping Buddha? Didn't he get bored? Yang was very curious how he persisted with it. A man in his 30s, yet living like a septuagenarian or octogenarian. Brother Du, Xianxia drew aside the bead curtain and went in. Old Mr. Du put down the wooden fish. Peiji has arrived. Brother Du, it's too lonely here. Why don't you come back with me for the New Year? Xianxia suggested. Old Mr. Du fingered the Buddha beads. What's bustling and what's quiet, to me it's all the same. A good mindset leads to lasting happiness. While they spoke, they proceeded to the tea room. The smoke of tea curled up, shrouding their figures, making everything seem dreamlike and illusory. Tea shall replace wine when guests arrive on a cold night, with the bamboo stove boiling soup and fire glowing bright. While Xianxia and old Mr. Du chatted, Yang found a book on the shelf to read. She loved reading and had an interest in almost every book, gradually becoming engrossed in it. Even though she had read Dream of the Red Chamber many times before, each new reading brought different insights. A beauty rolls up the curtain, sitting deeply, knitted brows frowning in thought. Old Mr. Du, one hand holding Buddha beads, took a sip of the slightly bitter tea broth and said, Peiji, have you been paying attention to the southern part of town lately? From what I understand, that group of old fellows seems to be getting restless. Xianxia lifted a teacup, just a bunch of struggling grasshoppers after autumn, hardly worth fearing. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1057, The Second Silly Dog Among Birds, Chapter 17. Uncle Du nodded. As long as you're aware, that's good. The two had a long conversation until Yang finished half of the book, and Imo called for her to go back. Yang stretched lazily and yawned. Are we going back now? Imo reached out his hand toward Yang. Yang, out of habit, placed the book upside down on the desk and her right hand on top of Imo Kishin's. Uncle Du saw them out. Imo got into the driver's seat. Uncle Du, you should head back soon, it gets cold at night. Uncle Du nodded. Drive slowly on your way. Don't worry. It was at this moment that Yang suddenly remembered something and turned her head. Oh, Uncle Du, we brought some steamed buns and lotus root balls from home. I left them on the table in the tea room. The tea room is warm, it would be best to put them in the fridge when you get back. Okay, Uncle Du nodded. Then we'll head off first, Yang waved at him. Uncle Du also turned to walk back into the house. Watching his desolate figure, Yang sighed softly. What do you think keeps Uncle Du from settling down? It's so lonely like this. Perhaps having experienced similar loneliness in a past life, Yang now feared loneliness the most. Especially waking up alone in bed to find not a single person to talk to, it was terrifying. Imo holding the steering wheel with both hands, said, to each their own. We may think Uncle Du is very lonely, but that's not necessarily true. Yang nodded. That's true. If he really wanted to settle down, he wouldn't have married two beautiful wives just for show. After speaking, Yang added, oh, why do Uncle Du and Sister Jiao both call you Peiji? In fact, Yang had wanted to ask this question for a long time but never found the opportunity. Peiji answered, Peiji is my courtesy name. Courtesy name? Yang hesitated, then continued, like the poet Immortal Li Bai, whose courtesy name was Tai Bai? Imo nodded slightly. Yes, Yang is really smart. Yang was about to flaunt her pride when the man followed up with two more words, follow me. Yang. The next day was New Year's Eve. Last year's New Year's Eve was before Tsuehua and the elderly Master Zheng and Madame Zheng had acknowledged each other, so this year was their first reunion New Year. Yang was woken up early in the morning by Duo. It's New Year's. It's New Year's. Yang, get up. Yang said, somewhat speechless. You're a bird, what does New Year's have to do with you? Duo glared with his small eyes, defiantly saying, you're a bird, your whole family are birds. Possibly due to spending too much time with people, Duo seemed to have forgotten his species. Yang narrowed her eyes slightly. You dog son, say that again. Duo fearlessly retorted, you're a bird, your whole family are birds. Yang said with a smile, good, you won't have lunch today. Hey, Duo turned his backside toward Yang, I'm not afraid of you. Great, you've completely lost your mother now. Yang casually grabbed a pillow and threw it towards Duo. Duo agilely dodged the pillow. You're so dumb. Yang is so dumb. Yang is a big fool. Yang, she must have been crazy to have adopted such a bird. Since she was already woken up by Duo, Yang sat up in bed, grabbed some clothes and went to the bathroom to change. The festive atmosphere in the countryside was very strong. After changing her clothes and going downstairs, Yang heard bursts of firecrackers. In the dining room, everyone had already started eating breakfast. Xianxia, upon seeing Yang, smiled and said, Yang, you're up, come and eat. After breakfast, let's go to the fields and pick some roses to decorate the house. Now, not a trace of Xianxuan's heartbreak could be seen. Yang nodded, okay. After eating, the sisters took their baskets and went to pick roses. As soon as they stepped out the door, they saw a small sedan parked at the entrance, with Wu Qinjun getting out of the car. Xiaoxi, little sister Yang, where are you guys planning to go? Xianxia exclaimed in surprise, during the New Year's holiday, why aren't you staying at home but coming to our house instead? Wu Qinjun smiled and said, what else could I be doing? Of course, I came here to celebrate the New Year with your family. To celebrate the New Year with our family? Xianxuan's eyes widened. Wu Qinjun nodded, don't you welcome me? Xianxia was speechless, don't you have your own home? Why come over to celebrate at mine? Wu Qinjun straightened his face, my parents took my grandparents to Bansai Island to escape the cold, and now I'm the only one at home, so they told me to come celebrate the new year with your family. Xianxia frowned slightly. Really? Just at that moment, Xianxia Dehui came out from the yard. Qin Jun is here, come on in. Old lady Xianxia followed behind with a smile. We were just talking about you, and here you are. With a surprised face, Xianxia said, Grandma, Dad, you both knew about this already? Xianxia Dehui nodded. It was I who invited Qin Jun to spend the new year with us. Otherwise he would be so lonely all by himself. The Wu family and the Xianxia family were close friends, and besides, Wu Qinjun grew up under the watchful eye of Xianxia Dehui. With the Wu family not at home, it was only natural for them to invite Wu Qinjun over to the Xianxians to celebrate. Xianxia turned to Nai Yang. Yang, did you know about this too? Nai Yang shook her head. I had no idea. Xianxia, arm in arm with Nai Yang, said, Forget about him. Wu Lao-san has always been shameless. Let's go pick roses instead. Wu Qinjun dropped off his big and small gift bags at the Nai family's place and hurriedly followed the two. Hey, where are you going? Take me with you. We girls are going to pick flowers. What would a big guy like you do following us? Xianxia looked at Wu Qinjun with disdain. Wu Qinjun said, Men and women are already equal. Why can you girls go pick flowers and I can't? That's gender discrimination. The two kept walking and bickering, while Nai Yang tried her best to minimize her presence and give them space. They reached the rose field and the two were still non-stop chattering. Normally, Xianxia was a very quiet and gentle girl, but she transformed completely when it came to Wu Qinjun. During the process of picking flowers, Nai Yang found an excuse to head home first. Wu Qinjun looked at Nai Yang gratefully. Nai Yang quietly gave him a thumbs up. What are you two whispering about? Xianxia turned back to look at Nai Yang and Wu Qinjun. Nai Yang smiled and said, We didn't say anything, Sister Xiaoxi, you saw wrong. Is that so? Yes. Wu Qinjun slapped Xianxia's head lightly. You're not old yet, Xiaoxi, but why are your ears not working well? As the two kept playing around, Nai Yang quietly left the rose field. After lunch, Xianxia took Wu Qinjun to paste couplets and paper cuts on the windows. The Nai family had many doors and windows, so pasting couplets was a major undertaking. And since their neighbor Nai Qinggui had gone to his daughter's house to celebrate the new year, they also had to paste couplets for his house. Nai Yang and Xianxia took the couplets to Zhao Shuyu's home. On one hand, they were helping the elderly with their spring festival decorations, and on the other hand, they were also fetching Zhao Shuyue to celebrate the new year with them at the Nai family's place. Xianxia adored Zhao Shuyu's orange cat, Depang, and didn't forget to hold it in her arms while putting up couplets. Zhao Shuyue watched everything in front of her, suddenly feeling her eyes moisten. There's a saying, on every joyous occasion one longs for their kin even more, and what's more during the new year? Thankfully Nai Yang still remembered her, the old widow. After finishing with the couplets, Xianxia holding Depang and Nai Yang supporting Zhao Shuyue, all headed towards the Nai family's place. If Xianxia and Wu Qinjun were a pair of bickering buddies, then Depang and Duo were another. Duo liked to tease Depang when there was nothing else to do. For example, nipping at Depang's fur when he wasn't looking, and afterwards smugly saying, Ha ha, silly cat. Silly cat. What's more, Duo didn't just bully Depang alone, it also brought other little friends to gang up on Depang. Although Depang was agile, he was no match for Duo. He would meow furiously as if he wished to throttle Duo. Don't be mad, Depang, Nai Yang reached out and picked up Depang. One of these days, we'll butcher that little dog and make stewed soup out of him. Duo said, Murder is a crime. Nai Yang corrected, You're a bird. I'm your dog's son. Duo said. Nai Yang, Xianxia couldn't help but laugh on the side. This Duo is almost too clever for its own good. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1058. New Year's ruthlessly torturing the scumbag 18th update. In the evening, the villagers began to worship heaven and earth, burn paper money and arrange offerings. The sky filled with the sounds of firecrackers, and Wu Qinjun instinctively covered Xianxuan's ears. To his surprise, Xianxia did not refuse. Wu Qinjun covered Xianxuan's ears even tighter, a slight curve forming on his lips, truly wishing he could hold on forever like this. Of course, the highlight of New Year's Eve was the reunion dinner and the fireworks. This year, It was the first time for the elderly Mr. Zheng and Mrs. Zheng to spend the festival with the younger generation, and their red envelopes were not small, a thick stack when brought out. All the youngsters, including Wu Qinjun, received the same amount of money, without any favoritism or discrimination. After dinner they went outside to set off fireworks. This was Shangguan Zai's first time spending New Year in the countryside, and it was an incredible feeling. The festive atmosphere in the countryside was very strong, quite different from the city. Like every year, Gooden led a bunch of kids to the Ni family to watch the fireworks. Ni Yang had prepared lots of sparklers and distributed several to each child. Shangguan she reached out to Ni Yang, Yang, I want some too. Then I want some too, Wu Qinjun followed, stretching out his hand. Holding the sparklers, the two of them ran around and played with a group of kids, the rising smoke blurring everyone's smiling faces. Ni Yang stood aside looking at this scene, her lips curling up into a smile. Yang. Despite the surrounding laughter, Ni Yang still heard that deep voice. Ni Yang turned her head slightly. She saw a tall figure approaching from the darkness, the burning sparkler in his hand illuminating his chiseled features, with the lights of countless homes becoming the background. Brother Imo, Ni Yang said, somewhat surprised to see Imo Qishan. Yang, Happy New Year. Ni Yang hugged Imo Qishan tightly, Happy New Year. After the fireworks, everyone gathered again around the fire. Gooden brought over some sweet potatoes from home, and everyone chatted while eating the steaming baked sweet potatoes. Imo Qishan had also prepared New Year's money for each child and quietly handed out the red envelopes to all the kids. Then he stealthily pulled an extra-large red envelope from his pocket and slipped it into Ni Yang's hand. Yang, this is for you. Ni Yang was somewhat surprised. I get one too? Of course. Yours is the most unique and the biggest. Thank you, Brother Imo. Ni Yang earnestly tucked the red envelope into her pocket. I want one too. I want one too. Duo circled above their heads. Happy New Year. Give me a red envelope. Imo Qishan took out another red envelope and handed it to Duo. Duo was thrilled, hurriedly saying, Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss. And then flew away with the red envelope. Shangguan Su looked at Shangguan Shi and Wu Qinjun, then at Ni Yang and Imo Qishan, and finally at himself, suddenly feeling a love-struck blow of 10,000 points. It seemed it was time for him to find a girlfriend too. Otherwise life was just unbearable. On the first day of the new year, Ni Yang as usual went hiking with Imo Qishan. They also burnt incense at Niuwang Temple. In Beijing there is a custom that one should not go out on the second day of the first lunar month, so on the third day, Ni Yang and Imo Qishan went to pay a New Year visit to the Wang family. Since the Lantern Festival, Wu Yinyun had been waiting at the door every day, waiting for Ni Yang and others to come and pay a visit. She knew that someone from the Ni family would definitely come, because they still wanted to seek her forgiveness. When they arrived, she planned to harshly humiliate them, especially Ni Yang. How dare they come to pay a visit after throwing her away as a child? Ridiculous. But she waited for 3 days and no one from the Ni family came. Now Wu Yinyun panicked. Did they really not want her anymore? Had they truly given up on her? But what right did they have to give her up? They had abandoned her once before when they were children. Were they going to do it again? Wu Yinyun bit her teeth tightly, her face full of resentment. In the evening the Wu family parents returned with Wu Dalong, Wu Erlong and Wu Xiaolong. Whose house did you go to today? The Wu family were outsiders in Beijing and had few relatives, but today her parents and 3 brothers were not home. Wu Dalong said, Big sister, you won't be happy if I tell you. Did you go to Ni Yang's house? Wu Yinyun asked. Wu Dalong was about to speak when Wu Erlong tiptoed and covered Wu Dalong's mouth. A sneer appeared at the corners of Wu Yinyun's mouth. She wasn't a fool. Why didn't you tell me about going to Ni Yang's house? What? Wu Erlong sighed. Big sister, we didn't mean to keep it from you on purpose. We were afraid you'd get angry. Considering the current situation, if they had told Wu Yinyun, she would probably make a scene again. Who wants to be scolded and pointed at during the New Year's celebration? It would be like asking for trouble. So the parents of the Wu family didn't tell Wu Yinyun. Is it because I'm not your real sister that you hide things from me? Wu Yinyun, her eyes slightly red, questioned Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong were startled. It's not like that, big sister, it's not. Wu Yinyun picked up a cup and threw it on the floor. Do you even consider me a member of this family anymore? The glass cup shattered to pieces and the Wu couple who were bathing Wu Xiaolong in the bathroom came out, asking with bewilderment, What's going on? Wu Yinyun looked at the Wu couple. Didn't I say we're through with the Ni family? Why did you go to their house behind my back today? Just because I'm not your biological child you can disregard my feelings like that? Is that it? Wu Yenyun felt too miserable. She couldn't understand why her family would make her suffer like this during the New Year celebration. What? Yen Erju explained, it's not like that, Xiaoyan, we didn't mean to hide it from you on purpose. Intentionally? You did it on purpose. Wu Yenyun cried and ran into her room, slamming the door shut. Bang. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong jumped in fright. Wu Jinshu sighed, this child's temper is really getting bigger and bigger. Lately Wu Yenyun hadn't spared them from her outbursts. Having heard her cold-hearted words so many times, the Wu couple had grown accustomed to them. At this point they felt powerless about Wu Yenyun. They couldn't beat or scold her. Even if they said one harsh word, Wu Yenyun would take it as a slight because she wasn't their biological child. Yen Erju helplessly shook her head. Let it go, she's already 18 this year. Speaking to her won't help and she'll just get angry if we say too much. What a hassle it is during the new year. Before long it was the 8th day of the first lunar month. The 8th day is considered an auspicious day, so many organizations and factories choose to start work on this day. Meanwhile, ever since Zuoling was laid off, he hadn't found a suitable job. At this time, Qin Leibeo's father stepped forward and offered to help Zuoling get a job in his factory, but there was a condition. Zuoling must marry Qin Leibao. Naturally, Zuoling was unwilling. Who would want to marry a pigsy walking through the door? It wasn't until after the Lantern Festival that Zuoling, still jobless and swayed by the lure of wealth, finally nodded in agreement to marry Qin Leibao. Seeing their son finally come to his senses, Zuoling's parents were overjoyed and immediately started preparing for the wedding. Both sets of parents agreed on a wedding date set for the 21st of the first lunar month. Zuoling's parents thought they could finally look forward to a happy life filled with children and grandchildren, but to their surprise, on the third day after the wedding, Qin Leibao changed completely. She not only ordered Zuoling's parents around but also turned Zuoling into a live-in son-in-law. She openly declared her intention to have Zuoling continue the Chen family lineage. Zuoling's parents were taken aback. They didn't dare say much, knowing Zuoling's livelihood was still in their hands. Qin Leibeo's personality had changed too. How much she used to love Zuoling, whatever he wanted she would give. And now she would slap Zuoling at the slightest provocation, and if Zuoling dared talk about divorce, another slap would follow until he submitted. And unfortunately, Zuoling was no match for Qin Leibao. Moreover, when Qin Leibao lost her temper, she wouldn't spare even Zuoling's parents. Zuoling's parents pitied their son, not knowing how many times they had secretly cried behind his back. The new year passed and it was also time for the schools to start the new term. On the first day of school, Ni Yang naturally had to report to the campus. There were speeches and exams at the start of the school year, so Ni Yang had to stay in the dormitory for a few days. Li Huilan and Zhang Qiuying had already arrived in the dormitory. With the new year came a new spirit, and both of them seemed much more energetic. Yang, my dear, you're finally here. I've missed you to death. Zhang Qiuying hugged Ni Yang excitedly. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1059, Yang Yang's Tricks, Actively Pleasing, 19th Update. Ni Yang smiled and said, Do you miss me that much? Miss you? Of course I miss you. I even dream about you. Zhang Qiuying flattered endlessly, then turned to Li Huilan. Huilan, do you miss me and Yang? Li Huilan answered somewhat shyly, I do miss you too. Oh, I've brought our local specialty for you, the aromatic pig ham. As she spoke, Li Huilan took out a piece of yellow cured ham from her parcel. Zhang Qiuying looked puzzled. We don't have a pot in our dorm and you brought such a big piece of meat. How are we supposed to eat it? Li Huilan pulled out a knife and cut a piece of ham for Zhang Qiuying. This is eaten raw, try it. Raw meat? Zhang Qiuying frowned slightly, she really dared not eat it. In their hometown, there was a saying that eating raw pork could cause mad pig disease. Zhang Qiuying waved her hands repeatedly. Huilan, stop joking. How can you eat raw meat? Aren't you afraid of getting mad pig disease? Li Huilan smiled and said, Mad pig disease? No way. Everyone eats it like this back home. Upon finishing her sentence, Li Huilan cut another piece of pork and handed it to Ni Yang. Yang, you try. Ni Yang accepted the slice of ham with a smile. This ham tastes amazing when eaten raw. Aromatic pig ham is considered a luxury food in later years, with prices soaring into 5 digits per pound. The ham from the 1980s was all natural and free from pollution, making it many times tastier than the exorbitantly priced hams of later years. Seeing Yang enjoying the ham so much, Zhang Qiuying couldn't help but give her a thumbs up. Yang, you're something. Daring to eat raw meat. Yang took another piece and then another. This is truly a rarity. You can't buy it even if you had the money, Qiuying. Not eating it is your loss. Zhang Qiuying said, I'm not eating. After eating 3 slices of ham, Yang sighed, if only we had a glass of wine to go with it. It was already 1986 and everyone would be raving about the 87 Lafite wine next year, so Yang planned to buy a batch to store. Zhang Qiuying laughed, Yang, you really know how to enjoy life. Life is all about food and drink, Yang spoke lightly. Li Huilan looked up at Zhang Qiuying, Qiuying, are you really not going to eat this ham? Not eating, Zhang Qiuying shook her head like a drum. Yang shook her head, some people just don't appreciate good food. Li Huilan picked up the ham and placed it on Yang's desk. Since Huilan can't enjoy this, Yang, I'll give this piece of ham to you. Take it home and let your family try it. Yang was taken aback by Li Huilan's generosity. All for me? Huilan, aren't you going to eat it yourself? Li Huilan said nonchalantly, I've been eating it since I was a child and I'm tired of it. Just take it and don't be polite. Although the 1980s was a difficult time, there were still wealthy areas. Li Huilan, although born in a rural area, didn't have it as hard as one might think. There was no shortage of meat. However, a large piece of meat like this was still considered very precious for a rural household. But precious as it was, it couldn't compare to the value of friendship. Li Huilan held these 2 roommates in high regard and was willing to share the best with them. And Yang was never stingy with them either. Huilan, then I want stand on ceremony. Yang knew how to conduct herself and was well aware of the subtleties of human relationships. If she were to refuse the ham today, it might make Li Huilan feel uneasy. Sure enough, upon learning that Yang had accepted the ham, Li Huilan was overjoyed. Yang, if your family likes it, just tell me and he'll bring you some more next year. Yang carefully packed the ham away. Huilan, on behalf of my family, thank you. After finishing packing up the ham, Yang remembered that when she came to school, Tsuehua had picked out a big bag of things for her to bring to the dorm to share with her roommates. I almost forgot. This is what my mom asked me to bring over. You guys go ahead and eat. Yang had brought some cooked food like sunflower seeds, dried fruit, and braised duck feet and duck head. Zhang Qiuying and Li Huilan enjoyed it immensely. My goodness. This is way too delicious. Yang, where did your family buy this duck head? Zhang Qiuying asked, nibbling on a duck head and speaking unclearly. Yang said, this duck head was braised by my grandmother and my maternal grandmother. If you like it, I'll bring some more next time. Sure. Zhang Qiuying was thrilled. Li Huilan said, Yang, can you ask at home how this duck head is braised? Next New Year I'll have my mom try making it. Yang nodded, I'll write down the braised duck head recipe for you later. Although the recipe for the braised duck head was made by old lady Zhang and her family, the formula was provided by Yang, who had made her fortune from braised foods in her previous life. I want some too. Qiuying said, I'll have our housekeeper make it when I get back. Okay, I'll write it now. Yang took out some paper and started writing a detailed preparation plan. Since she wasn't making her fortune from braised foods this time around, it was okay to share the recipe with others. Yang not only wrote down the ingredients but also carefully wrote out the preparation process, producing 2 copies of the document, one for each Qiuying and Huilan. Holding the recipe, Qiuying exclaimed, Yang, your handwriting is absolutely amazing. To be able to write beautiful characters, Qiuying had practiced painstakingly for 7 or 8 years. She considered her own handwriting quite beautiful, but in front of Yang, it seemed child's play. Yang's face was as beautiful as her handwriting. Truly the handwriting reflected the person. Yang smiled and said, I've practiced for many years. Qiuying continued, Yang, not only are you beautiful but your academic performance is also outstanding, and your handwriting is beautiful too. How are the rest of us supposed to live? In Qiuying's mind, Yang was an all-capable being. Huilan agreed, Yang, you're even more beautiful than the village belle back home, but our village belle is quite silly, she doesn't even recognize Arabic numerals. In Huilan's view, generally, the less attractive people were not very dumb, and the beautiful ones were not very smart. It wasn't until she met Yang that she realized how wrong she had been. Just then, as if suddenly remembering something, Qiuying said, "Oh, right, Yang, my ice-smooth jade skin is almost finished. Could you help me get another set?" "Sure," Yang nodded. "Thank you so much, Yang." Qiuying continued, "Also, Yang, my mom really likes ice-smooth jade skin too. Could you get an extra set for me? I'll send it back home for her to use." "Sure, no problem," Yang made an okay gesture. "Ah, I really love you so much, Yang." The effects of ice-smooth jade skin were truly incredible, so much so that after the winter holidays ended, Qiuying had wanted to buy a set at the store herself, but she was in for a shock. The products were in extremely high demand. They were sold out and unavailable. Yang smiled and said, "You're welcome." Qiuying then asked, "Yang, do you know someone from the ice-smooth jade skin internal team?" Yang nodded, "Yes." When Wang Lisha walked in pulling her suitcase, she happened to hear this part. Her eyes lit up. Ever since she started using the basic ice-smooth jade skin, her skin had become incredibly smooth, as if she had put on a new layer. She too wanted to try a limited edition set. As Yang was in the dorm today, she saw it as an opportunity to make peace and then ask Yang to help her get a box. With this in mind, Wang Lisha's face broke into a smile as she carried her luggage into the dorm. "Oh, Yang, everyone's already here. I thought I'd be the first one." Yang looked at her, somewhat surprised. Wang Lisha had changed quite a bit over the winter break. She remembered how at the beginning of last year Wang Lisha used to look down on the three of them. Since Wang Lisha had greeted her first, Yang naturally wouldn't ignore her. "We just arrived too, and since my home is in Beijing, it was quite convenient for me to come." Huilan and Qiuying were used to it, as Wang Lisha's attitude towards them had gradually improved since the second half of last year, even sharing snacks with them proactively. After arranging her luggage, Wang Lisha took out 3 packages of local products from her hometown to share with Yang and the others. "This is a specialty from my hometown. I hope you won't mind it." Wang Lisha's home was in Hang City, and the specialty was silk. The packets contained real silk scarves. Holding the silk scarf that Wang Lisha had gifted her, Yang felt almost as if she were floating on air. She felt like she was dreaming. Just then Wang Lisha continued, "Yang, I just heard you say that you know someone from the ice-smooth jade skin internal team, right?" Yang nodded, "Yes." Wang Lisha grabbed Yang's hand. "Yang, I was wrong before and I know it. I've apologized to Huilan too. Let's make peace from now on. Could you also help me get a box of the limited edition ice-smooth jade skin? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1060. Little Ancestor, 20 more updates. Although it really hurt to slap her own face, Wang Lisha really loved the jade-like skin from the skincare products. Yang looked at Wang Lisha and finally understood why she had suddenly changed her attitude. It was good to have desires. She was most afraid of Wang Lisha having none. Being able to win over someone's heart with just a box of skincare products was indeed a great deal. After all, the more people, the easier to handle things. Moreover, Wang Lisha wasn't really bad, just a bit spoiled due to her wealthy background. Besides, they were dorm mates. Having a harmonious relationship was better than being in a continual standoff. Yang didn't like the latter. Yang said with a smile, "Sure." "Really?" Wang Lisha looked at Yang incredulously, excited to the point of madness. Yang nodded, "Really?" Yang, "Thank you. Thank you." Wang Lisha hugged Yang excitedly. She was so happy. Because she hadn't expected Yang to forgive her so easily, she had even prepared herself for Yang to make fun of her thoroughly, especially since she hadn't shown any kindness to Yang back then and even mocked that jade-like skin products would ruin one's face. Looking back now, it was really inappropriate. She had misjudged Yang, whose generosity truly impressed her. Yang said lightly, "You're welcome." The next day, Yang brought 3 sets of the jade-like skin products to the dorm. 2 sets for Zhang Qiuying and 1 set for Wang Lisha. Wang Lisha took the jade-like skin products with both hands, excitedly exclaiming, "Oh my! I finally got the limited edition." Additionally, Yang gave Li Huilan a big bottle of moisturizing cream. Li Huilan was embarrassed to accept it. Yang said with a smile, "Huilan, if you don't accept this, you're making me feel like an outsider." Otherwise I should take that big ham I brought back home. Li Huilan then accepted the cream. Today was Sunday, and Wu Qinjun and Xianxia had arranged to go watch a movie together. Early in the morning he drove over to pick up Xianxia. Yang quietly asked Wu Qinjun how things were progressing between him and Xianxia. Wu Qinjun blushed and said, "I can't really tell, but your sister is quite oblivious. I've hinted so many times, yet she is still indifferent." Speaking of this issue, Wu Qinjun was also frustrated because he wanted to win his beauty sooner rather than later. Yang then said, "Hints won't work. Sister Xiaoxi is a very romantic person, you need to prepare a surprise for her, something ceremonial too." Why did Zuoling manage to win Shangguanzai's heart before? It was because Zuoling was creative, ceremonial, and knew how to sweet-talk. Wu Qinjun trying to win Xianxia through hints. Compared to Zuoling, Wu Qinjun was too straightforward. He had a kind of steel-like straightforwardness. One day during the new year, Yang whimsically did a popular futuristic makeup look for Xianxia. When Wu Qinjun saw Xianxia he blurted out, "You didn't clean the sleep out of your eyes properly." That day Xianxia almost beat Wu Qinjun up. "Are you sure a surprise will work?" Wu Qinjun asked uncertainly. "Sure," Yang nodded. "What kind of surprise should I prepare then?" Wu Qinjun continued. Yang smiled and said, "That's something you'll have to think of yourself. Others planning it for you won't convey your feelings." Wu Qinjun scratched his head. "Okay, I got it, thanks little auntie." Yang pointed to little Yun and said, "Your little auntie is her." Wu Qinjun quickly corrected himself, second auntie." Just then Xianxia came downstairs and changed clothes, and after greeting Yang the two left together. Watching their departing figures, little Yun looked up at Yang. "Sister, what's a little auntie? Can you eat it?" "You just know about eating." Yang tapped little Yun on the forehead. Little Yun was now the little foodie of the house, like a blender, eating everything, not picky at all. Even avocados, as unpleasant as they were, she could eat 2 at a time. With some innocence little Yun said, "Isn't it you who said in life, it's all about food and drink?" "Oh," Yang said with a smile full of meaning, "our little Yun has gotten smart, now even able to think critically." Little Yun then asked, "Sister, what does think critically mean?" Yang said speechlessly, "Are you a Y machine?" Little Yun scratched her head. "Sister, what is a Y machine? Can you eat it?" Yang. Little Yun asked again, "Sister, why am I brother Qinjun's little aunt?" Yang put her index finger to her lips and made a silence gesture. "Shush, keep your voice down. Don't let Sister Xiaoxi hear this." Little Yun tilted her head. "Why can't we tell Sister Xiaoxi?" Yang whispered, "Because this is a secret between the 3 of us." "Oh." Little Yun nodded, not quite understanding, and covered her mouth with her hands, whispering, "Okay, I got it, sister. It's a secret I won't tell Sister Xiaoxi." Just then Duo flew onto little Yun's shoulder and, mimicking her earlier manner, tilted his head and asked, "Sister, what is a little ant?" Yang looked at Duo with a smile. "Duo, do you want to know what fried bird means?" Duo flapped his wings proudly. "Oh, I'm so scared." Yang grabbed Duo, half squinting her eyes. "Are you scared now?" Duo flapped desperately. "Help! Help! Silly cat, help! Someone's going to kill the bird." Just as she spoke, Depang charged over from afar, constantly meowing at Yang, and scratching at her legs as if to say, if Yang didn't let Duo go today, it would cling to her forever. "Meow meow meow." Duo maliciously said, "Silly cat is so silly." Yang. This silly cat really was dumb, tormented by Duo every day, but now that Duo was in danger, it eagerly rushed over to save him. It seemed that cross-species friendships existed too. Yang released Duo. "Alright, you guys go play." No sooner had Duo gained his freedom than he pecked at Depang. Friendships can capsize in an instant, and Depang immediately flashed his claws, as if he'd wipe out Duo's entire lineage. After playing with the silly cat Depang for a while, Duo was nowhere to be seen. The lively streets of Beijing. Duo perched on the shoulder of a refined man in casual clothes. "Little jerk, where are we going?" "We're going to eat," Du Chengfeng answered. "Little jerk, I'm hungry." Duo pecked at the fine hairs near Du Chengfeng's ear. "Hungry? Hungry? You're so annoying," Du Chengfeng said, twirling his Buddha beads. "You're the annoying one, your whole family is annoying." Duo got ruffled. Du Chengfeng remained calm. In this world, you're probably the only bird that dares to talk to me like this. He could never have dreamed that he'd indulge a bird this way. Duo cheekily said, because I'm your little ancestor. Du Chengfeng, little jerk, your little ancestor is hungry? Speak properly, Du Chengfeng commanded, his expression unchanging yet with a stern look in his eyes. If it had been before, Duo would have trembled with fear, but not anymore. Du Chengfeng, your little ancestor is hungry. Du Chengfeng, seeing that Du Chengfeng had no intention of grabbing the bird food, Duo coquettishly rubbed against his chin. Finally, Du Chengfeng took out fine quality bird food from his pouch. Delicious. Wu Yenyun spotted Du Chengfeng from a distance. But due to their previous encounters, she couldn't muster the courage to greet him. Looking at Duo on Du Chengfeng's shoulder, then at herself, Wu Yanyun's lips curled into a mocking smile. Had she really fallen so low that she was now inferior to a pet kept by an Aiyang? How ironic. An Aiyang was shameless, using a pet to flirt with Du Chengfeng. Just then a dark shadow flew towards Wu Yenyun, an excited voice shouting, Yenyun! Yenyun! Previously Wu Yenyun had visited the Ni family many times, and when at their place she had fed Duo, who was quite gluttonous. Thinking of coming over to greet her and surely being fed something delicious, Duo thought Wu Yenyun would be overjoyed. Wu Yenyun was initially startled, noticed Du Chengfeng nearby, and then smiled and greeted Duo. Hello Duo. Hello Yenyun. There was one thing Duo was good at, it was mimicking quickly. Wu Yenyun continued, Duo, my home has delicious food, visit sometime if you're free. Duo didn't catch anything else but the mention of delicious food and got terribly excited. Delicious. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1061, She is like the moon surrounded by stars. Chapter 21, Wu Yenyun watched Duo with a smile that reached her eyes. But in reality, the happier she appeared on the surface, the more she hated An Yang in her heart. She hated everything about An Yang, including this beast. Just as Duo was about to say something more, the sound of Old Dust's voice filled the air. Duo, come here. Goodbye, Yenyun. Duo politely bid farewell to Wu Yenyun. Wu Yenyun waved her hand toward Duo. Duo flew straight to Old Dust's shoulder. You little rascal, I want to eat more. Old Du held Buddha beads in one hand while pulling out a brocade pouch with the other. Who was that just now? Yenyun, it was Yenyun. Wu Yenyun. Old Du frowned slightly, a hint of surprise flashing in his eyes. Duo ate a grain of birdseed. You can't be that rude, you must call her Yenyun. Listen Duo. Old Du turned his head to look at Duo. From now on, you're not allowed to speak to Wu Yenyun, nor eat anything she gives you. Why? Duo tilted its little head as it looked at Old Du. Old Du glanced at the retreating figure of Wu Yenyun. No reasons, just don't. Oh. Duo nodded earnestly. Wu Yenyun went straight to a corner to hide, then peered secretly at the backs of Old Du and Duo, biting her lip tightly. Duo was a talking bird. This beast must have said many bad things about her in front of Old Du. Otherwise Old Du wouldn't ignore her. A beast wouldn't badmouth someone for no reason, you would know without thinking that it must have all been taught by an Aiyang. It's too much. An Aiyang really is too much. She clearly knew that Wu Yenyun liked Old Du, yet she still did this. She was just opposing Wu Yenyun. Wu Yenyun wanted to find a place to cry her heart out, but she knew she couldn't cry, she couldn't admit defeat. She wouldn't lose. Wu Yenyun. Just then someone patted Wu Yenyun's shoulder from behind. Wu Yenyun got startled and turned around, only to see it was Wei Haoguang. Wei Haoguang was 2 years older than Wu Yenyun, 20 this year, and had stopped attending school due to the prosperity of his family, which allowed him to laze about every day. However, it's worth mentioning that Wei Haoguang had an especially delicate face, appearing gentle and scholarly, like someone who was well-read. Wu Yenyun, being a student, naturally didn't know this socialite Wei Haoguang. They met at the hospital. It's you, Wei Haoguang. Wu Yenyun put on a slight smile. Wei Haoguang showed concern. You seem a little unhappy, did you encounter any difficulties? Tell me and I'll help you solve them. No, Wu Yenyun shook her head. By the way, you haven't had dinner yet, right? Come on, let me treat you to a meal at a big restaurant, Wei Haoguang continued. Wu Yenyun kept shaking her head. No need, I'm going home. Wei Haoguang followed her steps. Wu Yinyun, aren't we friends? You don't even want to have a meal with me? Wu Yinyun was no fool. She knew Wei Haoguang was interested in her, but she had no interest in him. She only liked Old Du. After seeing someone like Old Du, with his charming rogue demeanor, her heart couldn't accommodate anyone else. Unfortunately, with Yang stirring up trouble, Old Du would never notice her. Thinking of this, a deep sense of unwillingness appeared in Wu Yanyun's eyes. Wu Yanyun then said, "I'm sorry Wei Haoguang, but I still have homework to finish. I need to go home and do my homework." Last year, Yang took the national top scholar spot, and this year her total score must beat Yang. Must. Doing homework is so boring. Come and play with me instead. Let me show you around. Wei Haoguang grabbed Wu Yanyun's hand and led her to the motorbike parked by the side. Wu Yanyun was forced onto the motorbike. Wu Yanyun had ridden bicycles and been in cars, but this was her first time on a motorbike. Wei Haoguang had also called a group of brothers, and about a dozen of them started racing on the winding mountain road. Wu Yanyun hugged Wei Haoguang's waist tightly, screaming continuously, and as the adrenaline surged, her depressed mood also began to lift. "Ah ah ah. Isn't it thrilling?" Wei Haoguang turned his head and shouted at Wu Yanyun. "Thrilling. Happy. Happy." Wu Yanyun shouted back loudly. With a beauty by his side, it was Wei Haoguang who of course won this race. "The boss is awesome. The boss is mighty." Wei Haoguang took off his helmet. "Stop the nonsense and pay up." Everyone immediately pulled out their money. "Big bro, is this your wife?" What? Wu Yanyun heard this title for the first time. It was a novel feeling and it filled her with a sense of vanity. Wei Haoguang put his arm around Wu Yanyun's. "Your sister-in-law is still in school, guys. Don't scare her." Wu Yanyun bowed her head, her face blushing red. She wanted to refuse Wei Haoguang but she couldn't. "Which school are you from, sister-in-law? How old are you this year, sister-in-law?" Wei Haoguang answered each question for Wu Yanyun. "Your sister-in-law is 18 years old and currently studying at City 3rd Middle School." "Sister-in-law, I know some people from City 3rd Middle. If anyone dares to bully you, just drop my name, Li Daki." "Sister-in-law, with us brothers around, you can walk sideways through City 3rd Middle." With everyone calling her sister-in-law, they began to tease her. Wu Yanyun was very clear that she did not like Wei Haoguang, but she enjoyed the feeling of being protected and exalted. Just like Yang. Didn't Yang also have a crowd of people surrounding her? They all said it, her current life was thanks to Yang. But now, without Yang, isn't she still living a carefree life? What's so great about Yang? In the future she would live even better than Yang. After the motorcycle ride, someone suggested they go get a drink. Wei Haoguang was in a good mood today. "Everyone enjoy your food and drinks to the fullest. The treat is on me today." Everyone immediately cheered. "Big bro is mighty. Sister-in-law is mighty." Wu Yanyun liked the feeling of being surrounded, but she still had a clear mind. Faced with the glasses of alcohol handed to her, she declined them all. "Sorry, I don't drink alcohol." She was still a student, she couldn't drink. Wei Haoguang said with a smile, "Your sister-in-law can't drink, so I'll drink on her behalf." With all the commotion, it got late. When Wei Haoguang dropped Wu Yanyun at the Wu family's home, it was already past 8 o'clock. As soon as Wu Yanyun entered the house, Yan Erju said, "Yanyun, you're finally back. If you hadn't come back, your dad and I were going to call the police." Wu Jingshu said, "Yanyun, where have you been? You made your mom and me worry so long." Worry? Did they genuinely worry about a daughter who had no blood relation to them? They can secretly meet with Yang, but she's not allowed to go out and have fun? Is that fair? Wu Yanyun put away the sarcastic look in her eyes. "I was studying at a classmate's house. This will happen often in the future, so Mom and Dad, you don't need to worry about me." Hearing this, Yan Erju and Wu Jinshu sighed in relief. "Xiaoyan, although studying is important, safety is more so. It's already 8 o'clock and it's not safe for a girl to be out. By the way, where does your classmate live? In the future, let your dad take you there." Wu Jinshu nodded. Right, your mother is right." Did they truly worry about her safety? Or were they just looking for an excuse to keep an eye on her? So, she didn't even have this much freedom? Wu Yanyun continued, "No need, my classmate has a bicycle. She just rode me back on her bike, it's very safe." "What is your classmate's name?" Yan Erju asked with some concern. Suddenly Wu Yanyun felt a wave of irritation. They had to control everything. Everything. At the Ni family, Yang did whatever she wanted and nobody ever bothered her. But what about her? She was being watched by everyone. Was she a prisoner? Or in their eyes would she never measure up to An Yang? Everything An Yang did was right. Everything she did was wrong. Suppressing her frustration, Wu Yinyun said, "Her name is Wang Fang, she lives on Bicrai Road. I'm going to my room to read now." "Yinyun, aren't you going to eat? We've left some food for you on the table." Yin Erju continued. "I've already eaten at Wang Fang's house." "You child, how can you just eat at someone else's home? You're not allowed to do that in the future." "Mom." Wu Yinyun turned to look at Yin Erju, cutting off her unfinished words. "What?" Yin Erju paused. Wu Yinyun went on, "Wang Fang's family isn't as stingy as you imagine. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know reports so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Phantom Sword Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.